How's it going, everyone? And welcome to another episode of No Excuses on YouTube.com with your favorite show hosts, Ara Still.
Fenurian.
And Wallace, we're here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week, for once starting with all three show hosts present.
Yeah, sorry about last week. Stuff happened.
Yeah.
Or stopped happening, as in certain cases.
Yes.
So I had to scramble to get OBS working at the absolute last minute last week. And this week we had a few connection shoes to put together, but otherwise we're all here.
Yes.
Yes, and if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in our Discord server, which you can get to by clicking on the link provided underneath the show archive on YouTube.
Mills. What are you doing?
I'm trying to figure out what I want to play when we do something.
Okay. I won't worry about that once we
deciding.
figure out what we're actually going to do.
So, on the show today, we don't know what we're going to do, because Fern's at a wall in Baja, and with story stuff.
I got to
And,
sit in cutscene hell for a good maybe hour, I think.
Yep.
Not
and
that much, is there? I don't actually remember how much there is, to be honest.
yeah, I did the story part of Eureka in fragments too, and that was quite a while ago, so I do not remember.
Eureka, I think I'm in Pagos, like the start of
Or
Pagos.
not Eureka.
Baja.
I meant Baja.
Yeah.
I don't remember how much story there is in Eureka either.
It's
Eureka
there, it's like
is
Kryl wattling on about something.
Eureka is kind of a crapshoot because while I could take you guys to Pagos to help me get Pagos crystals for getting all my relic weapons, because Pagos is the worst of the grinds by a country mile, I can't actually help you guys level up.
We can go and have a look.
They've got very aggressive level restrictions. Ari and I tested it out last week, and there was no permutation of interference in battles whatsoever, which did involve him jacking all of our experience. So
If
Yeah.
I touch it, all the EXP goes poof. If I'm in the group with you, all the EXP goes poof.
Yes.
So until you get caught up to like level 33 in there, I can't even ferry you around to... Well, yeah, maybe at level 30 I could ferry you between NMs and I could just go pop NMs on the side and come pick you up.
yeah, but currently, if he sneezes in a mob's general direction, I lose all the XP.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a losing proposition in Eureka to try and do that on the show, because it's not something we can do together until y'all hit about level 30 in Pagos. So It's looking like it's gonna be Eureka's pretty much not Eureka. Why do I have Eureka on the brain? Baja's pretty much it for stuff we can do. Do you still need metal, Fern? Are you rank 25?
I still need metal.
Okay, because Vol needs weapon stuff from Zone 1 and 2 of Zadnor.
Alright.
Yeah, I still need springs and one axle.
Admittedly, I don't really care about what the story in Baja is anymore. It's been stretched out so long, and honestly, it's a bit long-winded.
At this point, I would probably recommend just skipping it and watching it.
Watch
Go
it
to your
later.
in-room.
Yeah,
Go to your
It's
in-room.
not like it's a bad story or anything. It's just you have to, like, if you were champing at the bit to do it as it came out, it would make sense, and if you did it all in one go, it would make sense. But if you just like do a bit of it and then forget about it for several months, then it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make a lot of sense.
It's one of those that doesn't do well if you have time to sit between steps without any thought going towards it.
Yeah.
Because if you were doing it live at the time, you would at least have the RP going on in the zone to give you little mental reminders, because you'd be in Southern Front a lot because it'd be current content. But the way we do, or the way I do Baja with you guys is we just kind of stick our nose in there once in a blue moon and do stuff for a bit.
Yeah.
And make steady progress. And it is not very
Oh, hang on a second.
not very conducive to memory retention. All right, hold on. Withdraw from that.
Go where I can use
Yeah, there's only really two Oh crap! I forgot to go by the market board and get more bloodsuckers.
Oh, you want to go do that real quick?
Yeah, I'll just go. I'll just go and go to
All
the
right.
old Charlian board. What am I looking for exactly?
I'll tell you which one they're in. I think it's.
All right. Well, while you do that,
I gotta Google it. Hang on.
You got to Google it. Yeah, we should play around with weeks then while we do that. So.
Yeah, it is Forgotten Fragment of Superstition.
Oh yes. That's rubbish in my. I need to clean it out again.
Holy cow! These are expensive. No, I'm not going to buy those.
How much are they a pop?
20,000.
Oof.
Yeah, that sounds about right for bloodsuckers.
That's not worth it.
Yeah, just pop
Not worth
Marshallus.
I don't know. I've got those either.
You should have plenty of Marshallus.
I haven't checked.
Do I have any martialists? I've got skirmishes.
Yeah, they've actually gone up in price. It was about 10k a pop when I was buying them.
It would have been fine if it was 10k, but 20 is just not good enough.
Yeah, I've got 42 bloodsuckers and 28 deep bloodsuckers that I bought with cash money. Ari, why are you always so poor? That's why.
That's why. Oh
See
dear.
what have I got?
Alright, so shall we plow on?
Yep.
So yeah, last week's shenanigans. Why I ended up missing the show was because immediately before the show, we had a fish tank spring a leak. Like, in a big way, the whole room was just had a layer of water through it. The tank was half empty. So, yeah, we ended up, I spent like 4 hours cleaning that up. We ended up replacing the stand the tank was on because it just got water soaked into it. So, yeah, after the tank had already drained down halfway onto the floor, we ended up draining it the rest of the way so we could actually lift the damn thing. And, yeah, during all of that, we had a power outage. Because it's, it's going into the hot season here, and everyone turned their air conditioners on. And the power system just said no.
Yeah, you're totally going to be able to have every person in the country charge an electric vehicle at the same time.
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
That's not going to cause any problems for the grid.
Yeah, the whole electric network thing is like, oh, they're going to be self-sufficient. It's going to be clean. Well, no, that power's going to come from somewhere.
I forgot to put my Aether Weaver on before I got on my check-in.
Check-in. All right. I should also...
Do you have Zone 2 unlocked, Fern, or are you still stuck in Zone 1?
Still stuck in Zone 1, but I can probably just quickly skip through the stories and unlock it.
Yeah, I would get Zone 2 unlocked.
In that case, I'm going this way.
Okay, we will do some fates while you do that.
Yeah. So yeah, that was that. It ended up being like a 6-hour endeavor to get this whole thing sorted out. So that was fun. Not the way I was hoping to spend my afternoon, certainly. But beyond that, it's kind of been a nothing 2 weeks in terms of nerdery. Just been a kind of a slog, I guess, of work and life and just nonsense.
Yeah.
Oh no, not life.
Stupid life. Getting in the way of fun. So yeah, did a little bit of gaming and did a little bit of anime and changed up the animes I am watching.
Yes, what are you looking at now?
Alright, well, I'll start off with, I'm still going on Undead Unluck, which I'm really enjoying. It's just dumb shonen nonsense. With, you know, a odd commitment to a gag about sense bars. But, yeah, it's just a dumb, fun show. And it's got an interesting power system behind it. Where, as they call them, the negators kind of negate one portion of reality, and that's kind of what their power's based around.
Are Axel's Zone 1 fates? Well,
Yeah, the Zone 1 fates, yep. So now it's just Zone 1 criticals,
Yeah.
Zone 2 fates, and Zone 2 criticals.
okay. Do you need Zone 3 criticals still too?
Yes.
Okay, so all criticals and Zone 2 fates.
Okay, so yeah, that one's still fun. I was watching the Naughtiness one, and I dropped it.
Well, it's turned more or less into the sort of saccharine romance that you expected.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if it was going to try being a romance or a comedy, but it was terrible at both.
Yeah, it is quite bad. But well, I mean the leading lady is just not equipped to be interesting.
No, she's not.
I mean, and that's not like if she was a real person, that wouldn't be a knock on her. It's just that the story is not. It's in a weird way, the story is just not about her.
Yeah.
So there's not really anything interesting there because it's just an incredibly the show comes off to me like it's sort of like incredibly narcissistic on the part of the main character.
Yeah.
Because everything is about how he feels about everything and not any of the other characters.
The fact that he's a massive ham lord as well it's a good thing. That's in its favour, but it's just not enough to get over either the fact that it's really just kind of not funny, and on the romance side, it's more creepy than romance.
The entire the only point of view that you ever see is from the inside of his head, basically.
Yes. And
there's no other points of view ever on display.
It's a circus in there. So yeah, I dropped it. It was just I wasn't enjoying it. It was just not fun, not interesting. It's
just kind of bland. I think it's an attempt to sort of capture a romance wish fulfillment fantasy thing that is normally a plot thread that's embedded in a different story.
Yeah,
like, it's not the only plot thread that exists.
Yeah,
like if there was actually some conflict going on, there might be something to it. But like, they are a little bit slow off the mark in rescuing it because it looks like they're just doing a gag a week type of thing. Whereas they could probably get away with something like if they had introduced some sort of like intrigue about why was she cast out of the royal family anyway. There must be some reason behind it, and then made that the point of the story. And whatever romance plot thread might develops inside a greater context. Then you could write a story like that.
You could,
but that doesn't really seem to be what they're doing.
No, they're kind of relying on that one gag, that one plot point, and revolving everything around it. Hang on, I got an unskippable cutscene here. This is the choice.
Oh, I can't register us for CE's Lottery cutscene.
Yeah.
Oh, you haven't unlocked Zone 2 yet either, anyway, so I can't register us for that one.
Yes, passing the buck. Excellent. I will do that.
What, pass the buck?
Pass the buck. And what do you want to do with Messenger? Do you want to kill her? Do you want to, hold the Guardians responsible, or pass the buck? And I'm passing the buck.
Oh, Just Pursuit's up. What's spawning?
Okay, I'm out of the cutscene now, but you've got 30 seconds before I'm into the next one. So yeah, that's that anime. I did pick up two more. The first is Shangri-La Online, which is not an isekai, even though it's got all the trappings of it. It's a guy basically just dicking around in a VR game.
Well, I mean, that was sort of like... There's a functionally an isekai.
Functionally,
there's not
yes.
really a difference between those two genres. They operate in the exact same way.
The fact that he takes off his headset and walks around the real world every now and again is by the by. But I just kind of enjoy that one. It's not really complex plots. Like, guy plays crap video games. He goes into a good game and is actually, good at playing it because the game is good. And beyond that, it's just him dicking about. And I just kind of enjoy that. There's no big plot. There's no big stakes or anything like that. He's just dicking around in the game. And that's the plot.
Well, hop in the sea. Hop in the sea. The NPCs will keep it alive for us.
Yeah. So I'm just going to keep watching that, more because it's just spectacle and dumb than anything else. The other anime I picked up was one from, I believe, last season, which is Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead.
See,
What that one is, it's a guy who is in a crippling, exploitative job position, suddenly finds that the zombie apocalypse has happened, and he's reveling in it. He's completely free, and everything kind of revolves around him just going out and doing what he wants.
The crippling exploitative job seems to be the standard starting point for every anime these days.
It does.
I guess that's just the sort of the audience demographic has reached this point in life type of thing. It's like, you know, the X years ago, like 15, 20 years ago, it was all high school anime, and now it's about being a salary man in a dead-end job.
Yes. So, this is one of those anime that you can sit down and you watch the very first episode and walk away completely satisfied. That first episode for Zom 100 is incredibly good. They didn't need to go out of their way to really drive home just how exploitative and depressing his job was, but they spend like 90% of the first episode drilling that home. They also make really good use of color to do it, so once the zombies come in and everything is all suddenly very vibrant and colorful, it's like, yeah, everything's fun and happy. Why is this Hrothgar so tiny and pink? What is going on here? But
the NPCs finished it for us.
The rest of the show after the first episode, it's like slice of life. They go off, they're doing fun things. He meets up with his charismatic best friend, and when it means charismatic in anime, it usually means exhibitionist. They meet the angsty rich girl and eventually the German weeaboo. Because of course she's
German weeaboo.
Yep, full on weeb. I can't see my quest log. What am I doing? Enter Thelia, which is over there.
That might be the name of Zone 2. I have no idea.
I think that is the name of Zone 2. Or part of it, anyway. But yeah, it's a fun ride. That first episode is really, really good, though. Beyond that, it's just, slice of life, dumb stuff happening. Occasional serious emotional whiplash. Because every now and again, they kind of stop their silliness and realize, hang on, people are just dying horribly all around us. What is... Oh no, what is going on here? I am locked out. I am disappointed.
Oh, yeah, you missed C because you didn't
C.
have Zone 2 unlocked.
Yeah, so I'll just stand here and watch you. So yeah, I'd still recommend that, even if it is just the first episode. Beyond that, it's just dumb fun. For the most part. And occasionally it kicks you in the face.
Oh, chain CE. Maybe we can get up there to sever the strings before we get pulled in and can grab another gold.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it for me on the anime front. As for the gaming front, not much.
Are you still watching Helk?
I need to get back to Helk. I haven't finished it yet.
It's been sort of flashback episodes for the past 2 or 3, but it's all pretty dark.
Yeah. Like, you've watched the first little bit of Helk and you could be forgiven for thinking it was just going to be a dumb comedy. But no, it goes dark. And it puts on the big boy pants. And I'm kind of here for it.
Yeah, there's not anything particularly remarkable this season, but there have been a few that are watchable.
Yeah.
So
there's a whole bunch of season 2s in there, which are going to draw a bit of a crowd. There is also Shadowverse.
No, there isn't. To the CE.
I tried to watch the first episode of the new season to see what it was going to do. I couldn't. I just could not.
Shadowverse. Why couldn't they have just done, like, the story of Shadowverse?
No, instead you got We Have Yu-Gi-Oh! At Home is what you got instead.
Burn push the CE button.
Oh, yeah, okay, the button. Button! Once again, I have no idea what these CEs are, so I'm probably going to die.
I feel like this one has an insta-kill or something.
Of
but
course
I
it
don't
does.
remember.
Force march plus, and you need to be sure you're force marched into the friendly zone that's going to get hit by the remove doom thing from the unicorn.
Yeah, I'm probably going to die. So yeah, that was my anime. Let's get through this, and then I'll talk video. Not that I've got a whole lot really to talk about. I think I fought this one before. Now I think of it, maybe.
Yeah. We romped through here on Zone 1 stuff, so I queued us for Zone 1 CEs that week.
Fair enough.
Well, Vol gets Shell and Protect.
I'm special. It's more than I need it.
Oh, there we go. I get Protect and Shell now.
I forgot to bring my lost bubbles.
Could you? Let's go, Green Dates.
Yellow is match. What am I trying to match to? The blue circle?
Blue, yeah, the big blue circle in the middle.
How far do I match?
About.
Oh, we're going to find out.
Oh, force march left.
Okay.
Left face.
So it's about the diameter of the bubble.
Yeah. Enough to be sure you get screwed if.
Yeah. That left face ruined me there.
Oh, right. I've got Scorch again. This isn't Eureka.
Yeah. You have more buttons.
More like you have buttons.
Yeah.
I forget
One
which
of
one.
those.
We're supposed to kill one of them really fast because it does something dangerous, but I forget which one that is, and the other one makes a mess. I think it's this one.
Yeah. Trying to kill me.
Do we kill the other one or ignore him?
No, you kill him. Well, he usually dies just because somebody's going to punch him.
Oh wait, I got to turn my class back on. No wonder the button wasn't coming up.
I ran out of chain spells. It always does an in out. Even if it either does an out in or an in out.
Yellow is match. Backwards. You know what? I'm just going to wait for it to go off. I'm not going to try and greed.
I got marched into one of the pulsy balls and got a cheese poof.
Don't touch his balls.
It's okay, I'm white mage.
Fair enough.
He's dead.
There we go.
Okay, back to zone 2.
Alright. So, as far as my video goes, yeah, I've kept it low-key, haven't really done a whole lot. Kept going on Monster Hunter now, because it's just a fun time killer when I'm at work and nothing's going on. They've had a couple of events now. They've got the Halloween event going on, which is just collect Halloween tickets, you get to make a hat. Which does have an interesting effect on it, at least. If you're in a party mode and everyone's wearing the hat, you get a massive attack power increase from it. But the event monster is just Pumpkin Kulu. It's just a Kulu Yaku with a pumpkin.
I see.
He doesn't even do anything new. He's just got a pumpkin.
You know, Kulu is funny and all, but they can't just go to the Kulu well every time they need something amusing.
I really hope they don't do that, because it'd be like, here's a new event, here's Christmas, it's Kulu Yaku with a present.
And a Santa hat.
And a Santa hat. Or the Thanksgiving Kulu Yaku where he throws turkeys. Actually, no, I'll be here for that.
Oh no!
I'll
Do
be
we
there
have
for
to
that
do
one.
This one without a, we have
But-
to do this one without a tank. Fudge.
So yeah, hopefully that's not a thing. They just got
Your
lazy
green
this time
deeps,
around.
it'll be fine.
But I've managed to get up to and unlock Diablos, who now refuses to spawn because I want his armor. I think there's only Rathalos left to go, and then I kind of unlocked everything that's unlockable at the moment. That said, we also have had one event where they've introduced a subspecies, which is Pink Rathian. And they do that by just having, whenever a Rathian can spawn, there's a chance of it spawning as a Pink Rathian instead. Who will proceed to go absolutely mental and destroy your face.
Yeah, I've seen people hunting those and then finding out it's what level?
Yeah, that's a high rank star. But even just when it spawns as a low rank 5, it's like it still has absolutely no chill. So, yeah, that's fun. Like, I don't appreciate them doing subspecies that way. That means they just... I think it's a seasonal thing. I don't think Pink Rathians are spawning anymore. They're an uncommon spawn anyway, so they might be, and I'm just unlucky. Yeah, normally these kind of games I get bored with, and I get bored with them very quickly, like Pokemon Go. If I do have an urge to play it, I usually play it for a week, and that's it. But nah, Monster Hunter Go now is keeping me going. It also really never made me feel like I need to put money into it. Because they rely on the hit point bar being kind of your energy bar as well, they give you a lot of like first aid meds. They give you like 5 of those a day, which is 50% health per. And beyond that, it's just a matter of get good. If you get good, then you can play longer. So I appreciate that. And even if you don't get good, then yeah, you either fork out money or you wait for
Super Soldier's out.
Super Soldier.
This one's gonna die fast because people need the note from it.
Hmm. Alright. The only other game I played is actually a new one, and it's on Unreal 5 because, yay, that's where everything is at the moment, and Unreal 5 is doing horrible things. That's City Skylines 2, which I really enjoyed the first one of. It's the game that was made after SimCity crapped the bed.
Fern, I'll just rush you.
Oh, you don't...
No.
You don't want to mess with Harambe?
No.
No. It's easier to fight a boss.
Oh. That's just rude.
Oh, also, I can't really heal you very good while I'm in Deeps mode. Yeah, no, rank 4 and 5 mobs are no joke.
Yeah, they are. They are nasty.
Like, if I was on Warrior Bloodsucker, yeah, I probably would have just turned around and killed it, but I'm not doing that shit with that thing. Also, if you get the extreme danger debuff from this guy, or extreme caution, and you're going to get hit by something, the correct answer is get hit by something, put your weapon away, and stop moving. Don't touch anything until that debuff disappears.
Ah, it's one of those.
Yeah, you will just flat die. I like how Marsak has Vol covered. As though Vol is the one tanking the boss, and not the green deeps. That's it. That's going to put extreme caution on you. Yep, there goes everybody. That's always fun.
That was just a final screw you out of the boss.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, City Skylines 2, basically the same as the first one. They just made a whole lot of quality of life improvements. and it looks a whole lot prettier when the frame rate decides it's going to be steady. Yeah, this game's got performance shoes. So yeah. Beyond that though, it's you build a town basically. You build your city. It's all very pretty. However, your citizens are probably the whiniest little craps you've ever seen. And they're
always demanding,
very demanding.
always complaining.
Like if there's a tiny little speck of air pollution around, they complain on Twitter. If there is a delay in an ambulance getting there, like by 30 seconds, they complain on Twitter. Yes, Twitter is a thing in that universe.
Is it still called Twitter?
It's Chirper, but it's still a fat blue bird.
It's not X.
No, it's Twitter. It's just Twitter. It's just got a different name.
Here we go. Demented's popping.
So yeah, it's good, but be warned, especially I think with Nvidia players, it's going to have performance shoes. And this seems to be an Unreal 5 thing because Ark Survival Ascended launched this week, and a lot of people are having performance issues with that as well. I mean, it's Ark, so of course people are having performance issues with it. That team wouldn't know optimization if it came up and bit them, but still. Anyway, so that's been my weeks. It's been nonsense. Vol, what you do?
Not all that much. I thought that I was better from my illness because the first few days this week I was basically hardly coughing at all, but then I sort of had a relapse in the last couple of days, so it's gone back to being kind of rough. But yeah, this week was kind of chaotic at work, and it's probably going to continue to be that way for the immediate future since we're trying to get things all sorted before we hit the holiday season, which could do anything really. We're not really sure what's going to happen. But hold on, what's going? Here we go. What did I do this week? Well, the rerun of last year's Gooda Gooda event on FGO is going, which was not one that I particularly enjoyed because it feels like it's for fans of different characters than the ones that I'm a fan of, like because it's all like very narrowly Japanese lore focused, and since I don't really have any cultural in there, it's sort of a little bit over my head because I don't have like any attachment to, you know, stories about the Shinsengumi I heard when I was a child or anything. Like it's not in my cultural lexicon. So yeah, that event is more or less just it's another opportunity to get more materials in the bank for when I need to power level a character. But
see quickly because this one's it's timers right now.
But they are trying to rush through a whole bunch of events. I think next one coming up is this year's Gooda Gooda event, and they're racing to try and hit a particular deadline so they can release Tunguska on time. And a lot of people were suspecting that it was going to get pushed back, but no, it looks like they're still on schedule, provided that they keep barraging us with events in the short term. Yeah, so that's going to be busy. The current Blue Archive of... Oh boy, aren't you lucky?
I gotta back up.
Oh no.
Come on, controller connect.
Oh no.
Okay, controller connected.
Okay.
There is currently a rerun of the second Ninja-centric event on Blue Archive running, and I have not made any progress in it because I've been busy doing the rerun on FGO instead, so I'll have to catch up with that one. And that's really heavily abbreviated because they're trying to shorten the schedule and get everybody caught up. And so, oh no, this is the Hushmal guy, isn't it? Yeah, it is. I'm just going to die. That's what's going to happen. I don't think I've ever survived this event before. But the next event is a new one, I think. and it's one that a lot of all of the Eris fans have been looking forward to.
Oh, the Maid Iris one.
Yeah.
All right, where's the clone? Look for the clone.
I don't know what are you supposed to do with the clone?
Be on the side of him that is not glowy. So his left hand's glowy, so you want to be on the right side. And then you got to dodge the falling pillars like it slices right. And repeat.
Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! It's the exaflares that I can't do.
Ack.
Yeah, these exaflares are tricksy. I forget.
I can never tell what direction that they're heading. Like in visual terms, they're basically unreadable from my point of view. Like I just don't understand what's happening when they're moving around.
Ah.
I can't tell what direction they are. I can't tell how many there are.
Oh, damn it. I was not far enough on the edge. And I'm going to die. No. Oh, yeah, I'm dead.
Yeah, you were dead.
I usually just stand in them and die because I don't understand how you're supposed to dodge them at all. They just make no sense to me at all.
I screwed up my first positioning. There's a position you can look for in the pattern, and then all you have to do is after they start marching, move left about 3 steps. But I was at the wrong spot in the pattern. Run away from those hammers as far as you can.
No, I'm dead again.
Normally it doesn't get to this point.
I've never even seen this before. Well, he goes on my metal again. Oh, fantastic.
I was targeting
immediately died.
I was targeting you for a heal, but you were already casted. Or you were already out of invuln.
This is one of those bosses where once you fall over once, you're basically done.
Yeah, you might as well stay on the ground.
Yay!
I got 5 times the metal that I lost there back.
Yeah. Anyway.
Alright. I have some metal to go bank, so I might go and do that.
I'm gonna pop this fate just because we're here.
Oh, yeah. Well,
they've released the previews for the next chapter in Blue Archive, which is going to be Rabbids 2. I'm not going to get a single shot off, am I? Nope. That feel when playing caster class.
Oh, Dynamite's easy.
Yep. So Rabbids definitely needs some expansion on that story because the
I think
previous story it felt like a more developed form of games development 1, basically. It's the same type of story as the Games Development Club first chapter, where the real purpose is to introduce you to the characters and their sort of like their daily struggles, as opposed to, you know, the serious world-shaking event that's going to happen to them. But yeah, and it looks like there's going to be a bunch of backstory for, you know, old Kivotos, like, you know, 6 years previous or whatever to present day.
Just head to Dynamite.
Oh, I don't know which one's Dynamite.
The CE.
Yeah, but what? Oh, hit a deck.
What do we need to know about it?
It's hit a deck.
Just follow the danger Dorito.
I do that and I still die.
Yeah, it's because the Danger Dorito is not as wise as he claims to be. He's just a color-coded one. That'll be like gold or silver,
Oh, right. Yeah, okay.
and you just follow the directions that the boss gives you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rabbits 1, it had other problems. Like, a lot of the stuff it tried to show in those daily lives didn't click as well with me because it feels like stuff like Sensei digging the trenches with the rabbits doesn't work really well in a visual novel format without a lot of CVs.
No, because there's supposed to be like a work montage there.
Yeah.
In like Anime Edition, there would be a work montage.
Yeah.
Where they sweat it out together or whatever.
But you literally don't get to see that. You just get to see that same sad tent with crazy explodey rabbit staring at the tent for like that whole episode. Like there were just a lot of problems with the Rabbits 1 for me. It didn't click with me
And for
at
some
all.
reason, you did not like the communist robots. I thought the communist robots were an amusing digression.
I forgot about the communist robots.
But they're so communist.
They are so communist.
This is making little sense.
It is exactly what it says on the tin.
It is literally communist robots.
Yes.
Right.
Like, they behave exactly as communists would. They claim that nobody's allowed to own anything, and this is the best for everybody, except for the guy that's at the top, where he has decided that his valuables are more valuable than other people's, and therefore he needs to maintain possession of all his crap, but everybody else has to give up all of theirs.
Also, everybody's hungry all the time. Yeah, but broadly, I liked the chapter. It's not my favorite by any stretch of the imagination, but I liked it well enough. I did not find it remarkably. I did not find it remarkably bland or offensive or anything. It was just, yeah, it was okay, an okay chapter, being that it's an introductory chapter. It's introductory chapter is an introductory chapter.
I have a slight bias because it
So
has rabbits. I hate rabbits. I didn't always hate rabbits.
I love rabbits. I kept them as pets all through my childhood. I'm very
Rabbits
fond
are
of
literally
rabbits.
Satan. But I'm Australian, so we have a bias there.
Listen, rabbits are delicious.
Fair point.
But they poo all over my hallway.
Yeah, the reality is that rabbits only poo everywhere when they're under a disproportionate amount of stress. Like normally, when they are content and feel like they are at home in their environment, they pretty much always go to the toilet in the same place.
These are not my sister's rabbits.
If they are panicky and stressed, then they will just poop wherever because they're afraid of staying put.
Oh, there's a whole lot of people about to get whopped. I saw a bunch of people standing behind the silver one.
Up there.
Wasted a perfectly good chicken.
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 That's okay. The dragon will be up by the time we get back to zone 2.
Fair point.
But I got springs for that one. Is that correct? Springs is normally... I wasn't expecting to get springs. I'm having trouble getting lower memories.
Those are probably zone 2 CEs.
It's the Green Books is Zone 2. I thought Springs was Zone 1, but that we were in Zone 1. I thought we were in Zone 3.
Yeah, no, that was a CE for Zone 1.
They both have that little bubble at the northeast of the zone, you know?
Oh, yeah.
Alright, let me tank my metal. And I've got to talk to Mikoto.
Well, you're not.
Yeah, I had time this. I had time this week to play a tiny bit of Fate Samurai Remnant, but not very much. And I just did a bunch of side stories that were about to expire if I advanced the main plot at all. But it's still holding up. It just has some, taking a break away from it, coming back, just made the things that were jank stand out all the more as being jank. But most of them are things that can't really be helped. It's just the limitations of the game system that they decided to use as the basis, and you're just not going to get away from some of the problems that has. But I'm still a little bit mystified at why they decided to use the shell gauge system to slow the pace of boss battles down so much, because that I would have just preferred if they'd given them a longer health bar rather than the shell gauge system, because the shell gauge system, when this is not so much of a problem with magical monsters, although I still am a bit bewildered as to why they've got them, but servants in particular, usually they will, at least once during the fight, they will refill their shell gauge and you'll have to deplete it again, which is honestly just feels very frustrating because of how long it takes to get the thing down and then to start really chomping into their health bar.
It sounds like unnecessary padding.
Yeah, I just don't. It would have been the same, more or less the same effect if they'd just given them a long health bar. The point is thematically to try and value servant damage differently to the damage that Iori does, because Iori's just a human and he's trying to fight things that are like way above human level, and he can't hurt things with a shell gauge basically until it's depleted, and he can't deplete shell gauge either except during openings that enemies will leave after making a strike. So it's supposed to simulate the sort of the sense that you are totally outmatched and what you're doing is in combat is largely irrelevant most of the time, unless you're very carefully picking your moment. The problem is that the net effect of all of it is to just make battles feel very, very slow, because the penalty for getting it wrong is so high. Like, you take Dark Souls level damage from getting hit, and you aren't able to do damage most of the time, so going in at the wrong time doesn't pay off ever. Like, you can't like do something risky for a payoff because you can't really damage them if they've got a shell gauge up. So there's not really much of a risk of reward there. It just requires you to be, painfully patient and chip the shield down for ages before you can actually start attacking the health bar. So yeah, it's a strange system that I think you could still use it, but they would have needed to do more tuning on the shell gauge, I think, to make it feel like you weren't just doing nothing for part of the battle. Although it does leave you with a decision to make in some sense, like, because you can only control your servant directly for limited periods of time and not all that often. So it's kind of that leaves you with the decision: do I want to control my servant and go ham on the shell gauge and get it down as much as possible during the time that I have the servant available, or do I choose to be patient and take whatever opportunities are presented to chip down the shell gauge slowly using Iori, the main player protagonist?
Burn CE popped, by the way.
Yeah.
And then attempt to just completely chunk the boss while the shell gauge is down, using a servant then. And that logic works really well for magical monsters, but for servants it doesn't really work nearly so well, because no matter how much damage you manage to lay on them when the shell gauge goes down, it's not really going to matter whether you're controlling Iori or controlling a servant, because they're still just going to put the shell gauge up when they hit about 50% health anyway, so you haven't really gained anything from thinking strategically. So yeah, I feel like they ended up shooting themselves in the foot with that one. But it is what it is. The most unpleasant enemy to fight so far has been Arjuna by far. Like, it's just he can just decide to jib you from across the arena. And there's not really much you can do about it.
Didn't he have that one like insta shot move where if you didn't have him backed in the corner, he could just back up and insta fire a one-hit kill?
Yeah, or at least it seemed that way. I think that there's a tell for it. It's just that because he's an archer, he's always moving away from you, so you can't see very clearly what he's doing most of the time. But yeah,
I was watching you do that one on my other monitor when you did it.
He's a jerk. Do not like fighting him. No, sir. There's a Old Man Lee has a similar move that he can just seems to be able to pull out of nowhere. But my goodness, which is the first one?
The middle one.
Old Man Lee has a similar move that he seems to be able to just pull out of nowhere and kill you with, but it doesn't do hit you with, but it doesn't do nearly as much damage as you usually get away. It's a knock up, so you'll usually get hit more than once. But you'll usually get away with like at least a third of your health bar still intact, so you've got enough time to use a healing spell or item or something. You're not like screwed from the outset. I can't tell where the hell I'm supposed to get knocked back to.
I'm not trusting any of you losers. I'm gonna sure cast the shit out of that thing.
I lived.
There's an almost even chance that you're going to get wrecked by the surecast as well.
Yeah.
It'll be like this one guy who also decides to surecast and he's got a donut on him or something. Oh my goodness, I hate the sea. I can't freaking see anything.
Okay, you want to get knocked into the patch that explodes first.
Oh crap!
Oh, I screwed it up too.
We all screwed it up. I screwed it up double.
I adjusted.
I adjusted too.
I did not.
Should not have adjusted.
For some reason, I was thinking the knockback would come from the middle instead of from the green serpent.
What are we killing?
This back one, so we can get knocked into it safely. Nobody else is helping me kill it.
I'm trying. I've got cast times.
Chain spell saved me. We just barely got it.
Well, chain spells for.
One of the things that I both love and hate about Boccia is how so many of the mechanics do their best to force you to trust other people.
Yeah.
Well, this is an MMO.
Victory.
More springlings. Have I got enough springlings yet? No. No.
Back to zone 2. Actually, it's probably better to run back to base and teleport to zone 2.
Yeah, it is. I gotta click some thingies over there.
Bangs.
Bangs.
I gotta get more chain spells.
Yeah, I'm still gonna make progress through that for that game. I've heard that there's actually a number of endings to it depending on the decisions you make. I don't know which things are actually decision branch points though, because you get a few things that you can say, but there are a couple that sort of stand out. Like there's one particular thing where you have to decide whether whether you'll go to search one location and Archer's Master will go to search another location at one point in the story, and you can choose which of you goes to where. So the archer, the archer controlled by a master is Zhou Yu.
Okay.
It's not quite as flamboyant as the one in
Warriors?
Dynasty Warriors.
Yeah.
But it still has traces of that.
There is a certain degree of flamboyance, yes.
Where are we headed?
I'm going over here to click on a thing, but there's also a fade over here.
Yeah, I'm heading towards Sever the Strings in Zone 2.
Yeah. So far the plot has just it thickens continually and very slowly, and I have not actually figured out what agenda is at work yet, because it's in a constant state of fighting a rearguard action against being beset on every side. So they've struck a fairly good balance in terms of, this is time you spend investigating what's going on during this Grail War, and this is time you spend defending yourself against people who are deciding to go after you for whatever reason. And it's got a feel to it that is very similar to the pacing of a Fate Stay Night storyline. Maybe not Heaven's Feel, but the other two, where you are actually sort of participating in the Grail War, as opposed to dealing with the hang-ups of one of the characters, which is basically all Heaven's Feel is doing. But yeah, so I still like the way the story is put together, and as much as the things that are jank jumped out at me coming back after a break, so did the things that I liked about it. Like it became, it was highlighted to me that they were strengths of the way it was put together, and I think it's probably one of the best Fate games that they've ever managed to come out with, considering they're mostly a bit naff in one way or another. But yeah, I haven't had much time to play much else. I was hoping that because Cry Machina came out this month, and I was hoping it would be worth playing, but from all accounts, the actual combat mechanics are incredibly bland, and it's basically a framing device for the visual novel portion of the game. So I've sort of deprioritized that. I'm still interested in playing it, but apparently the actual playing of it is not really great. It's a bit rudimentary, and you can, provided that you can passably dodge, you can basically use the same combo to kill every enemy in the game.
That's boring.
That's what the reports are saying anyway. I mean, there are people who would argue that about Dynasty Warriors games as well, but yeah, having played Fate Samurai Remnant and seen that it uses the same core mechanics as Dynasty Warriors, and I still continually get teabagged by enemies, even simple enemies. It's there's definitely stuff you can do with that to make it, if not engaging, then at least enough to make me want to throw my controller through the window. I haven't worked out why sometimes I just seem to lose priority to the enemy. And it's like, I definitely hit them during their charge up, but their ability went off anyway and killed me. Good grief, everything does so much damage. Like in Dynasty Warriors, normally you feel invincible unless you're getting comboed by an enemy general.
Yeah.
That's normally the way of things, but in this thing, if somebody hits you, your health bar disappears. It's not friendly.
You are a squishy human meat bag. Is what the problem is.
Yeah, it is very much the case that they are showing you humans are too fragile to fight servants, and also swords are sharp and getting hit by them is bad.
Yes.
Like there's a lot of games where the pointiness of a sword is sort of fades in the background because you can afford to get hit by them many times.
They're looking at you,
and
Dante, with your guns.
And eating a sandwich is enough to recover from them. And while technically speaking, you can still recover from sword injuries with rice balls in this game, oftentimes you won't have the opportunity because getting hit a couple of times will put you in the ground. So yeah. But yeah, the side stories have been kind of interesting. Most of the time they're just sort of like, it depends on who you're playing. Sometimes they will be, oh, this is what was happening while the main characters were off doing, this, that, and the other. And they'll be like a cutaway to, oh, well, this was what was happening in the meanwhile sort of portion. But other times it's just sort of like other things that are going on when everybody's not, fighting to the death in the middle of the night. Like Musashi going on a shopping errand for her master or whatever. And generally getting in trouble because Musashi is a bit flighty at the best of times when she's not got a berserker spirit origin. But yeah, you actually get to play as Musashi quite a number of times compared to other servants. Like a lot of the servants you'll get to play now and again. You'll do a little segment as them, but Musashi comes up again and again, but largely because she's got a strong tie to the main character. But yeah, it's they do quite a good job of basically making you feel like a god by comparison. Like, it's easy enough for Iori to take on a gang of thugs, like, provided that you don't get reckless, you can bring them all down without getting hurt. But there is one sequence in a side story where Musashi says, "Oh, just let me take care of it." And so you play as Musashi instead of Iori, and you just absolutely mop the floor with everybody without getting touched. It's like, this is servant versus thugs, and it's not fair at all. Like, Iori, the skilled samurai versus thugs, is already slanted heavily in your favor. Berserker Musashi Miyamoto versus thugs, that's not even a fight, it's sort of a joke. But yeah, so there's fun to be had there, but it's mostly fun for Fate fans. Like, as much as I'm enjoying the game, it doesn't feel like there's a lot there for people who don't already like Fate. It's just a lot of things in it just won't make any sense. Like, why is this interesting, or why is this exciting, or why is this cool? All of those questions can only really be answered by somebody who already thinks they're cool because they like Fate products. It's not a great entry point to the franchise. You could do it, but I think a lot of things in it are designed for people who are fans and would just not make a great deal of sense to anybody else. But yeah, I'm hoping I will get enough time to push through a bit more of it, make some more progress, get closer to completion. I hope that there's a New Game Plus mode, because I have basically been making decisions at random. I have no idea exactly what sort of path I'm on, good, bad, or other. I don't know if there are good ends or bad ends, or just different details that you get in different ends. But yeah, I'll probably want to put another run through later. It seems to be sort of. I don't want to keep going back to this but it seems sort of Dark Souls-ish in the amount of benefit you get from grinding. In that, yes, you do get benefit. You definitively can get stronger through grinding if you really want to. But it doesn't really feel like a useful expenditure of your time.
Yep. Compared
to just moving forward.
Yeah, like, you could make these very, very small stat progress upgrades, or you could just learn the fight.
Yeah, and make a big jump.
Like if I had not picked up any, I mean, there's a certain amount of power that you gain from upgrading your weapons and that. But if I had not picked up any skills from the skill tree whatsoever, if I was playing carefully, I could still kill every enemy I fought so far. It might just take a bit longer.
Oops, he's up.
You do it, goof.
No, see, he's popped.
It's the Wingerling guy.
Wingerling guy. Okay.
It's Pazuzu.
Pazuzu up. It's not even Gales. It's just fierce guys.
It's the power of killing robots.
Now, this guy's the four-way Wingerling guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you might need to explain that a bit.
He will have light up wings, and one of them will not light up, and the wings will point in 4 different directions, and the one which is the not lit up wing is the safe Wingerling direction.
Okay.
So, position your character above his head so you can see his 4 Wingerlings and stand under the Wingerling that's not glowing.
Fair enough.
Also, he has a cast. One of them's a point blank and one's a donut called Something of Locus, and I forget which one's the donut and which one's the point blank.
Yeah, honestly, it doesn't make much sense. Like, the names don't have enough naming sense for you to remember. There's like Swarm and
Plague or something.
else. Yeah.
Like Plague of
But they're
Locus
just
and Swarm of Locus.
They're just like, oh well, it's
It's a donut and a point blank.
they're locusts. The locusts are doing locust things.
Yeah, but neither of those particular names tell me which is which.
I'm going to assume the first one's the point blank.
Okay.
Do we have a tank in this group? Okay, I see somebody with a big weapon. No, we may not have a tank. I may be tanking.
Well,
That's a Reap.
Yeah, those are both Reapers.
so you chose to be Green Deeps. This is the penalty of Green Deeps. Is that sometimes
you're a green tank.
you're the tank.
Live by the Green Deeps, die by the Green Deeps.
Cloud of locusts. That sounds point blanky.
Yeah, that does.
That means the other of locusts will be the donut. I am the tank.
Yeah, Plague of Locusts. There we go. So that's probably the bit donut. Which it is.
I hope these people aren't expecting me to throw random heals on them, because I am currently the tank. I think that's a... Okay, that's just generic AoE. I am the tank. I am the tank. What's that? That's Tank Buster. Shit, that's Tank Buster!
You cannot eat a Tank Buster.
I can!
Wingerlings.
Wingerlings, we go this way.
Find the correct Wingerling. I was doing fine until there was the bust of Tank.
Oh, he does a point blank there as well. That was almost nasty.
Yeah, I saw your back heel in it and swore you got hit. Summon Darkness.
My Swift cast is down.
These guys will either shoot a line across the entire arena or they will do a look away. I don't remember if it's random or scripted or how that works.
I've only seen line go first, but I don't know if that means anything.
Gyokan is definitely the thing that... Yeah, that's the frontal thing I was looking for. I will swift cast Thin Air Raise You, Fern.
I'm bottoming out my mana, keeping people in the game.
I'm hoping this is going to work. This should work.
I followed the group. I should not have done it.
Oh, yeah. I'm trying. Hang on.
No, no. Can keep me alive through that.
Hang on. Chain spell is down.
There is a freaking warrior here. He's just not tanking. Oh, he's got Defiance on now. He mustn't have earlier.
Maybe he's just so bad at his class that...
I mean, it's possible.
That Green Deeps wasn't a Fern I have to avoid.
No! 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 Come on, man! That's not fair at all.
Alright, let's try and get Vol up.
It doesn't matter if you get me up. I've got no mana. I can't do anything. I've got no mana and I've got no lucid dreaming.
Okay. There we go.
So I'm just gonna run around and do nothing.
That warrior just died.
Died of what?
He got tank busted and didn't know how to heal himself, I guess. I'm thinking this warrior is just bad.
Don't warriors have a heal self button?
They have a lot of them.
Yes.
They have raw intuition. They have equilibrium. Oh, I'm on the wrong side of the bird.
I'm just gonna run around popping Lost Cure 2 on people.
Okay, there we go.
Because, frankly, I can't do anything else.
Whoops.
Oh, crap!
He does it twice.
I forgot he uses 2 of those. And it doesn't matter that he uses that you can survive it because you just die from the next hit anyway, and you can't dodge it. So
Yeah.
that sucks.
Oh, that just sucks.
I don't have enough Lost Cure 2s for this. Why are they all targeting me?
Wait.
What?
This isn't fair! This isn't fair! I'm not doing anything wrong! I just can't catch up!
Is he gonna die again?
I've turned a flat loss on metal.
How much do you lose per death?
2,800 for me.
61,000.
28,000 for me.
61,000.
Ish.
I think you get 500k per CE.
I haven't been. Nowhere near.
Maybe I'm crazy.
Well, we know that.
Oh, I'm on the wrong wing. Wrong wing.
Eyeballs. Wing-a-ling that way. Eyeballs that way. There.
I hate this. I hate when it's this wing with the eyeballs.
Oh, was he back to the eyeballs?
Like that? Yeah.
Right. That was unpleasant. Let's not do that again.
Okay. I got 600,000 for him.
I did for him. I didn't get that much for any of the others.
Oh yeah. Anything else for you, Windfall? Or shall we take a break?
Did I watch any anime that was different to previously? I don't think I did. I'm mostly watching the same stuff. Everybody online is gushing about the elf one.
Elf one?
Frieren.
Oh.
I don't know anything about the story because I haven't watched it. But it's like basically they kill the demon lord, but then this elf is basically she's maladjusted to living under any conditions other than fighting the demon lord, and she's basically a mess as a result because she's got to outlive all of her companions and watch them die. It seems like a depressing show. This is why I haven't bothered to investigate it. But people are like spamming pictures of her all over social media, so she must be the season waifu.
Must be.
But yeah, I don't know. I just can't bring myself to watch depressing shows. It seems like a waste of my emotional energy. I have so little of that. I don't really want to spend it on that.
I'd rather something fun and dumb or hype, not depressing.
Yeah. I have been generally entertained by the anime about the girl who is adopted by the witch, and the witch looks like a little girl and she looks like a very voluptuous woman despite being only 16 because she was an early bloomer, and the witch was a late bloomer. But she's incredibly it's not really degenerate. In fact, it's actually kind of the opposite.
Okay.
It's actually kind of wholesome because the girl, the 16-year-old girl, is very very clingy with her mother, and basically the entire series ends up being a combination of just sort of like magical hijinks and her shenanigans to try and prevent anybody from getting so close to her mother that it'll take her affection away from her.
Yeah.
Like she's constantly afraid that her mother will get distracted from loving her.
Oh dear.
So yeah, but the witches seem to be rather odd ducks generally. And the main one that raised the little girl, Alyssa, she's probably the most normal of them. Like the other ones, like her friend Giriko is like she seems to make magical devices, but she doesn't seem to make them with much of a purpose. Just because you can make something doesn't mean you should.
Yes.
And so she ends up triggering an apocalypse with hyper-evolved sweet potatoes at one point.
What?
Yeah. They can walk around and stuff.
I see?
And apparently also combining robots.
What? Just
Under certain conditions.
okay, this sounds like
It's a very silly show. And there's various other side characters as well. Like there's an orc carpenter who is hoping to gain the girl's affections, and so basically, and he's best friends with this elf who is hoping to gain Alyssa, the witch's affections, and so. Despite the fact that they should be on the same side, the orc is constantly betraying his friend and obeying Alyssa's requests that he interfere with the elf's attempts to spend alone time with Alyssa, who sees the elf as a little brother, since despite the fact that he's an elf and he's like 160 odd years old, Alyssa's still older than that. She's like 223 or something.
right.
But yeah, it's basically silly shenanigans, and then there is Viola, the daughter's familiar, a phoenix with the highly imaginative nickname of Fiend, who is he has all of the dignity of a mythical beast in terms of personality under the circumstances of a brief look in a dark room, but doesn't have any of the appearance of a legendary beast at all, and in fact looks like a child's drawing.
Okay, I was thinking they may have gone the plucked chicken route, but all right.
I described what Vol said last week as a toy rubber chicken thing that goes squeak.
Yeah, he looks a lot like a toy rubber chicken, except fatter and orange. And he seems to become competitive for Viola's attention as his master over very silly things and with very silly things. Like, she tries to raise a pot plant, and he decides that he needs to compete with the pot plant for the whatchamacallit, familiar status.
How do you compete with a pot plant?
So yeah, it seems that all of the characters in the story, except for possibly Alyssa, are extremely clingy and focused on one particular person who is definitely not focused on them and is focused on someone else entirely.
Right.
So it's sort of like a love dodecahedron scenario, except every character has a different type of affection for different people. Like, they're not all romantic ones. But in whichever form of affection they have, it's a little bit obsessive.
Right.
We might be able to get some progress on Sever the Strings before Cry Wolf is ready.
Well, hopefully I can go and press the button before I get dragged back over there. This will unlock the third area.
There's another one that I've been watching, which is, I can't remember what it's called, but it's basically it's not an isekai, it's a Peggy Sue story about going back in time with your present day knowledge. But it's a very transparent very transparently a Marie Antoinette XP is the main character, and basically I think I have strong feelings about Marie Antoinette. Like, I think that she's been done dirty by the way she's perceived in history, because from all accounts of who she actually was, she was an incredibly nice person. And like right as she was, I think she famously like bumped into somebody or stepped on someone's foot or something on her way to the guillotine and immediately apologized to them for it. Like, that's the sort of person that she was.
Yeah. The famous "let them eat cake" line never actually happened.
Yeah, that's entirely apocryphal. I mean, she was definitely, I think she was from House Habsburg, but she was definitely a noble, and so obviously is going to be a bit disconnected from the concerns of the common people. But am I supposed to be going to that battle here? But she wasn't sort of like the uncaring, malevolent individual that people remember her as. But this version of her, this is not actually her, but it's like transparently supposed to be like her, is she ends up getting put in jail during a revolution in her country, but she's like she keeps a diary while she's in prison of all the things she's thinking and what went on and so on and so forth, and detailing what a horrible person she had been and how she had contributed to the fall of her country and so on and so forth. And so she has a miserable experience suffering through her last few years of life in prison, and then she goes to the guillotine, and as her head rolls, she wakes up in her child body again with her diary and all of the details in it of what had gone on. And she's so terrified of walking down that route again that she basically spends every waking moment looking for ways to avoid the guillotine. The difference between this and all the similar stories is in most of those similar stories, the protagonist is either a dunderhead or generally decides that they're going to turn over a new leaf and be a good person. This character does no such thing. She has no intention of being a good person whatsoever. The only thing she's interested in is attempting to avoid the guillotine. That is her whole consuming obsession, not getting her head cut off.
I mean, it's a noble goal.
Also, Fern, I'm tanking, so I can't watch your health.
Yeah, that's fine.
You will catch accidental heals, and that's about it.
But yeah, so she basically goes through her diary and looks at all the complaints and things that she made about the various people in the palace and whatnot who were trying to get her to not be such a brat and were trying to lecture her about the conditions of her kingdom and all of the things that were going wrong, and that she summarily dismissed and ignored because that's something for the plebs to worry about. It's not her business. And so she's is pouring through her diary looking for bits and pieces of information, but is exploiting this information to try and trigger the reforms that she didn't cooperate with when she was alive. And so she ends up accidentally developing this reputation as this sort of saint-like, almost prophetic individual who seems to know all of the things that would fix her kingdom's ills, and so she ends up getting this reputation as an incredibly wise princess when in reality she's just a brat who's desperate to avoid getting her head cut off when she gets older. So yeah, it's a reasonably entertaining, but you've seen the show before with a slightly different flavour to it if you've watched any of these things, because there's quite a few of them now. It's the same sort of mould as the story about waking up inside a Otome game and as the villainess and trying to not get killed in that context. It's the same story essentially. But I'm a little bit salty that yet again Marie Antoinette's name gets dragged through the mud in order to uphold this, popular conception of her. Even if they didn't name her that, you can tell exactly who she's supposed to be.
Oh, hey, the warrior found his tank button.
No, I can't get to the other side in time. Oh, I just made it.
Whee! Too far. Oh, apparently I just died.
Why would you do that, Fern?
Don't know. Is there a dot or something from that? I don't know.
Oh, you didn't get away from the ice pillar fast enough. After the howl, you have to run
I know,
away
I
from
fell
the
over
ice pillar.
before the ice pillar went bang.
No, then you weren't in the LOS properly.
Maybe.
Oh, super soldier's up, and people are already sprinting to go kill it.
Anyway, I'll leave my wheat there. No, I don't want to fight you. Withdraw. I think always scares me shitless.
Oh, because you usually don't qualify?
Yeah. But you get them more and more the more you qualify, don't you?
As long as you don't get hit, you qualify.
Yeah, I know, but like you get the opportunity, you get offered the opportunity more the more you turn down, don't you?
No, you have to accept the challenge and not be picked.
Oh, okay.
So, because only one person's allowed to fight it, so it goes
Right.
with people that are actively trying to do them only.
I need to extract some materials.
Yeah, I need to go back and restock at base, and we can begin my week there, and then make our way back out to Zone 2.
Alright.
The bog! I'm just gonna hit the return button.
Yeah, I might as well.
Get her away from this stupid thing then. Hey. Or someone could just annihilate it, that's fine too.
I mean, I could have, but I need to get chain spells out of the bank. I'm running so low on chain spells. No, I'm not. I have 140 stocked up.
Alright, so we should take a break before we get stuck in the next bit.
Yep, and when we get back, we'll go through my week. There isn't a whole lot to it. It's been kind of a rest week, and then we'll move on to the little bit of news we do got. Here's some music, folks. We'll be right back. And we're back. And a Just Pursuit has popped.
Hooray. And I'm going to
I will
stand
wait
here
for you.
looking really dumb.
I'll wait for you guys to get here.
No, I'm not seeing it. It looks kind of dumb on YouTube, all.
It's not my fault. I went and bought it just so that I could see.
Yeah.
But no. Makes my character look like she's got Down syndrome.
You look like you need to poop. I'm not going to lie. You look like you need to poop.
Oh no, they're gonna kill Just Pursuit.
Where's the litter box?
So yeah,
I was dead. Not going to get there in time.
okay. Yeah. I smacked you once, and there are like 7 other people chewing on you now. Go away. Stupid Tengu.
Nah, he's gone. He went poof.
Yeah, of course they give me the field notes when that one was being a pain in the butt to get me field notes forever. All right. I have not checked the email, so we'll do my week.
Yep, do your week. We'll do the email, and then we'll do whatever news we have. There isn't really.
Yeah, I like to post the email in the show host board, so a screen cap of it, so that I can keep everything on one screen without having to flip between crap. There we go. For later. Okay, my week. Not a whole lot happened. It was super busy.
That was it.
Taxes?
Yeah, tax progress didn't go nearly as well as I wanted it to. I haven't even started breaking out the Amex yet. Is the last thing I got to do, and work has just been a barrage of customers.jpg.
Customers do be customers.
I had one guy who's an engineer send me a picture of my own pump curve and say, challenge accepted is up. And say, what does this number mean? And points to the impeller trim on the curve.
Is there a number on
Now,
said trim?
No, but if you're an engineer, you know what that number is. You literally cannot size the pump without knowing what that number is. And he sends me an email with this thing that just says, what is this?
I mean, like, if you don't need to know anything about engineering to understand this either, because it's like you have a series of pump curves showing the performance of a pump. And if there are multiple pump curves, it means that there are multiple types of pump, right? And how do pumps in a single range differ? Impeller diameter. Like,
Yep.
This is a simple chain of rational reasoning that requires no knowledge whatsoever.
Yeah, and it's been crap like this all week long.
Oh, good. I wasn't the only one having that sort of week then. For example, actually, I had a customer last night who decided he asked us about a price to a rural pub, which is about 40 kilometers out. He didn't want to pay our price. He decided to walk.
Well, I mean, good luck to him.
Well, he made it about 10 kilometers and then called for help.
From you guys.
Yep.
So did he ask to go to his destination, or did you take him back to town?
No, he went back home. It was supposed to be for some Halloween party that's apparently out there.
Well, I thought that Australians that live in the WOPs at least had some concept of distance.
Usually
because
they do.
You kind of need to.
But, yeah, customers.jpg.
Yeah, it really is a marvel just how stupid customers can be.
Yeah, like, he wasn't by far our only idiot that night, but he was the one who kind of won the gold medal.
Well, at least he didn't try and claim you stole his gold.
Ah, yes. Karen. But, it was a full moon last night, so that explains some things.
Yeah, it's a full moon right now.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to benediction myself
Okay, but why though?
because I'm tanking a fate.
Oh, you're over there. Okay. I'm faffing about up in the third area.
Oh, you jumped on the zone 3 chain. Yeah, Vol needs specifically stuff from zone 2, so I'm
Yeah, I'm coming
farming
back.
stuff here.
Well, I don't need anything more from the fates. I only need critical engagements now.
Okay, so you're done with all fates?
I
You got
think
30
so. Let me
30,
let me
30,
just
30?
check. I've got 36 blue books, 54 white memories, and 30 compact axles. So, yeah, all the one-time grind ones that come from skirmishes are done.
Okay, so we can just follow the zone 3 train.
I wouldn't. At the moment, it's big enough that you can only get one smack on things, so you're only going to get out of them.
Not if you get that one smack and I'm in your party, you'll get gold.
Right. I suppose white mage lasers.
No, I don't even need the laser. I just need one glare. I just need glare as eyes, or I need one big flower.
Blow them up.
Yeah, and that is enough to get us almost full credit. Also, I can see where they're spawning ahead of time because I can see the RP before everybody else because I cheat.
I see.
And when the RP starts, because I have the Eureka helper loaded, which includes Baja, so I can see when the RP started, so I can actually go scale the fate for us.
Yeah, I wondered how you could tell when they were starting a fate.
Yeah, the Eureka plugin. That's the other thing with my week. I have been so tired. Eureka is very good at one thing, and that is you don't have the juice to do literally anything else.
So dumb. I don't like it.
And that lets you go into Eureka and grind a bit. And Abo wants to make some progress on those weapons, and it's the last big grind I got to do. I'm going to the freighter for now, but I'll head to the.
Does Fern have access to this zone?
I do.
He said he did.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. So.
Yeah.
Oh.
Because all I can see is that he's in zone 2. It's not in zone 3. So.
Yeah, I came back and then you guys ran away. So I'm going to come back after you once I join this fate. Finish this fate. Which freaking robots.
Come to the A on the map. This is the waiting crater.
Where's the?
But yeah, so
Here he is.
in Basha, I've never felt the need to install a plugin to cheat. In Eureka, I am cheating to high heaven. I don't care. It is the worst type of content with the worst type of people, and the only reason I'm there is because my OCD completion wants me to try and finish that stupid relic grind.
Do you know what the ghastly gibbous is?
The hat out
It's ringing a
Team
hole.
Fortress 2?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So, do you know what the gibbous wave is?
No.
That's basically because the ghastly gibbous is the only hat most people who have only dabbled in TF2 have.
Yeah.
All new players who will have a cancerous effect on the performance of their group wear the ghastly gibbous. So anytime somebody sees gibbuses start showing up on their team, they get a sinking feeling, right?
Yep.
So basically, Eureka can expect a gibbous wave to be arriving any second because Stormblood is now free to play.
Oh,
And since
it is.
End game raiding, the front of end game raiding moves with expansions. That means the default end game free to play is now going to be Eureka.
Mm-hmm.
So that tribe that have been holding Eureka hostage are going to have the gibbous wave arrive in their territory, and for the first time since Shadowbringers came out, they are going to no longer be the majority.
Is it going to make Eureka any more playable?
There are two problems.
They're not necessarily going to make it more playable, but it will make them cry tears of blood.
I'm here
There
for
are
that.
there are two problems with this that are a problem with Eureka's structure itself that are going to make it a problem for everybody else as well. While I do laugh at the hardcores getting their precious little hug box invaded, the bigger problem is free trial accounts can't talk in shout chat.
No, they can't.
But they're going to spam crap all over the place, pull things without waiting, and
Yeah.
nobody will be able to tell them anything.
Yep. They're just going to be a menace in every zone because of that. So,
Well, they could use a Discord channel, I guess, if they feel like it. But they are free to players, so
yeah. If they go in that Discord, they're going to run into the same elitist community that exists there, and
they won't go into that Discord because that Discord won't let them stay.
I suppose so.
They'll make their own.
Yeah, they'll go into any of them but the Baldessian Arsenal one, I guess. I think there are a few casual ones that are around.
Yeah,
the Baldessian Arsenal one is the cancer one. The one that runs Baldessian Arsenal regularly is the most cancerous of all the Eureka communities. But as we found out last week, Eureka is just a non-starter. Okay, Hefflump spawning.
I'm coming on my fish.
Gonna have to book it.
Enough.
The Heffalump isn't active yet. It's got a pretty long RP.
All right.
But also 0 hit points.
Yeah, so Eureka has a few fundamental problems there. It also has a problem where all these new players are going to have a much harder time getting can't target the stupid Heffalump. It's too fat. We're going to have a much harder time min-maxing their way through Eureka and getting a very substantial damage boost because they can't use the market board. And this means they don't have access to things like the cheap 100,000 for a whole lot of bonus, 100,000 gil for a ton of bonus elemental power you can buy for a chess piece. On the market board, you can buy a few items that are tradable and go turn them into a dude next to the boat that takes you to Eureka. And these give you a ton of bonus elemental power that jack your stats that you have Magicite slotted into way up. They don't have access to that. They don't have access to being able to finish up their 6th and 7th Magicite slots because they can't access the market board because you're not realistically going to get every single one of the Magicite items you need to drop. The drop rate is just too stupidly low. You may see a couple, and you'll have to fill the rest from the market board. And they will not have access to that because they can't use the market board. This also means they can't contribute to the supply of these items. So, but they're going to come in and still cause all the problems in the zones without making the prices on this crap go down, even if they're just there as casual in-gamers on a free-to-play account.
Still sounds like actually quite a good time.
It is not. Chicken spawning.
Chicken?
Chicken.
Will we have enough time to get credit on it before the CE starts?
It hasn't popped yet. The RP's still going.
Or shouldn't we go to the CE then?
Oh, right, the CE.
There you go.
I'm brain farting.
Chicken!
I should be able to get us gold if you just whack it. That's good for gold. Yeah, go to the CE now.
Yeah, I don't want to get by comment.
Throw a chicken at a chicken. We're all good.
Yeah, all you have to do is throw a sardine at it, and you'll get gold credit if I did my thing right. Yeah, totally brain farted on the CE. But yeah, Eureka's just a pain in the butt. And as we found out last week, you can't play with your friends. Realistically, unless you're going through that place with a group of friends, everybody not in that group gets left out.
Oh, that's just unpleasant.
Because the level lockout is just incredibly harsh there. There we go, we got gold. you know, you can keep an eye on the edge of the arena to see where the gold guys run into so that doesn't happen, but I always forget. But yeah, it's just there are so many just fundamental design problems that Eureka's got all over the place that are just a colossal pain in the keister. And a bunch of what really hacks me off about Eureka is so many of its problems could be solved just by making the mobs invulnerable for a minute and a half when they spawn, and then making it just standard to pull it when they become vulnerable.
Yeah, I suppose the thing is that they all seem to be fixes that you could do retrospectively if you were so motivated, and they just don't because reasons, I guess. I mean, it's not exactly going to be a priority fix for them or anything, but I feel like it could repair the experience quite a bit and render something that is just painful into something that is doable.
Yeah, it's for some reason they've just got a hard-on for keeping Eureka the way it is, but feel no need to include any new grinds into the game to take its place. Oh, we're doing this. Oh, that guy's dead. Oh, it's that warrior.
Oh, heck.
Fernu have a close encounter.
I did. Not expecting the knockback on Judge.
I have gone through so many lost cures.
I am in Seraph Strike mode. I cannot heal for another 5 seconds. I can try. I ain't gonna heal for a lot. Yeah, when I'm playing Green Deeps, during my DPS phase, for a full 20 seconds, my healing's reduced to junk.
Where do I farm cure 2s? Or whatever this... Yeah, lost cure 2s.
I'd have to look it up. I have to see what fragment it is.
Whenever I'm playing DPS, I just blow through them like they're going out of fashion.
Oh, goodness. We're gonna f***ing die.
Oh?
This CE.
I don't like that.
We're going to die, and I do not remember what any of the tells are. I'm going to die. You're gonna die. Everybody's gonna die.
Provided that Aristeal and I can avoid dying simultaneously, we should be able to recover.
We all have a res button.
We do all have res buttons, yes.
But Fern can only swift cast the once.
And
we are
not a hard cast.
He can't recover his mana as anywhere near as easily as a healer can.
I really gotta take you two through the chain spell death runs.
Down on Lucid Dreaming is, yeah, it's a full minute, so yeah. I have N-res. Singular res.
N-res.
N-res.
Okay, this is the CE I was talking about last week. This is Belial. He's going to spawn clocks on the ground. Slow clocks explode second. Fast clocks explode first. So stay in a slow clock and then move to a fast clock. After the fast ones explode. Yeah. And he will also spawn time bombs that will rotate and fire out in split directions.
Like Bomberman?
Kind of. I, at one point, had it figured out. I don't have that figured out anymore.
Are they beams or
This guy looks like he's trying to be the prettiest princess.
He does a bit, doesn't he? That's what that stands.
He's got gorilla hands.
He also has normal hands.
He does. But he has like a magical girl scepter.
And he's pink.
He's incredibly pink.
Yes. He thinks he is the prettiest princess. And he has 4 arms.
Strange thing.
So I'm getting a bit distracted, but there really ain't much to my week. I reinstalled Neo 2 on a whim, and I've been poking at that, but I'm barely through the first zone. Doubt I'll get very far. I just like poking at that game because the gameplay is pretty fun. But it's not a game that I'll probably put a whole lot of time into. I'll probably get bored of it and drop it pretty quick. And the rest of it, yeah, it's just dealing with the problems of Eureka. I finally broke down and just bought the Hydatos Magicite because it's fairly cheap. It's like 7 million gil, I think is what I paid for it. For all 3 Magicite items in total. And I got a deal on one of them. And I picked... No, it was 7 million gil for all of the Hydatos Magicite items plus one of the Pyros ones. The other 2 Pyros ones were way price inflated. And I was not going to pay what they were asking. So I did not do that.
I can't find a slow one.
Slow one.
Oh, there's a slow one. There's only one.
He will also stop them. So you have to remember. Okay, they're going to blow up now. Eventually. There they go.
There we go.
Okay. And this is the mechanic that's going to kill everybody.
I don't
All right.
understand what I'm looking at here.
They're going to rotate a certain number of degrees, and wherever that line points to is going to be a conal AoE.
Oh.
Oh, not like that boss in the first variant dungeon?
like
How
that.
was I supposed to know?
Yeah, told you.
I don't understand what I'm looking at. Like, I just saw it rotating. It's like, how am I supposed to know when it's going to stop?
You have to know. And these guys are going to shoot a line AoE from the edge of the arena. So they're going to block off spots.
2 heads. What the hell?
I don't understand. What are you supposed to be able to discern from that?
You have to memorize how many times it clicks on each time it spawns. That's the only way to predict where it's going to fire.
That's dumb.
And now there's 3. Let's see if anybody figures it out. I have seen more TPKs on this CE than any other CE.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6.
Oh, it's where the hand points?
It's how many baubles are around it. Is how many times it's going to rotate.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
Are they all going to be different?
So
or are
you-
they always the same?
So you need to count the bubbles.
I think he can. I think any given spawn, there are only one type.
Okay.
Now,
So
you
if there's
notice-
6, then it's opposite direction. Those are 6 again, so it should be opposite direction to the starting point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think he can do a 5er, but I'm not entirely sure. But in addition to that, you've got slow time bombs that are frozen currently, and the dudes charging across the arena.
This guy's a pretty princess of the Mika variety.
Yeah, he
Angry gorilla.
if you get the CE, just do enough to get the contribution, and then just stay dead. I've seen this one just turn into a graveyard.
Now I grasp what it is that you're supposed to do, at least.
Oh,
So much going
Okay.
on all at the same time.
No, this is 6 again, so it's just opposite directions again.
Yep.
It's got to be this one. Yeah, it's got to be this way. Oh, I just watched a whole lot of people get boomed.
I don't know if I want to res in there.
No, I don't think you do.
Oh, well, there's a platinum coin for doing that one.
No, let's not do that again, shall we? That one is deeply
Oh.
unpleasant. Oh, hey, I still got enough metal to put me up to the next rank. That's something.
Okay,
Yay, I guess.
I'm just using Chainspell to res people out of parties so that I can get credit towards the res people out of your party in Baja. In Pasha achievement.
Alright.
So what you're saying is you don't have a compassionate bone in your body, you're just looking for personal profit.
Correct. And as soon as I get that cheapo, I will rest my party members and leave. So yeah,
You going that way?
that's
Okay.
that's Belial. He's an interesting one.
Deeply unpleasant.
He's a gorilla.
Pretty gorilla.
I thought you said he was a princess.
Yeah, but Mika's also a princess and a gorilla. Like, the two are not mutually exclusive, apparently.
Apparently.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. Hypertune's up, so that one spawns a
It must be some kind of muscle spirit.
yeah. We can make it to Hypertuned Havoc. It'll spawn a CE right after.
Nearly dead, though.
Is it? It's only at 35. Oh, now it's going. They must have killed all the ads.
That's actually been going more or less continuously. Because I've just been brushing the mouse over top of it.
It's okay. It has a follow-up, Super Soldier Rising, and then it has the CE, so...
So we're not going to do Heavalump.
Oh yeah, Heffalump's already back up, but I'm just gonna leave the Heffalump. But
this one instead.
But yeah, it's just a nightmare, and the fact that I can't even drag Ball and Fern into it to mindlessly do some grinding on the weekends just makes it even worse. Like, because if I could get them to Pagos, I could at least do Pagos grinding with them. But the fact
we
that
are in Pagos, it's just that we're miles below you in Pagos.
Yeah, yes. I finished Pagos, so I'm synced to the level cap of the zone, with no way to reduce myself to their level.
Thing is, so even if we were like 2 steps below you in Pagos, we still wouldn't be able to help.
You've only got a range of like 1 to 3 levels. It's somewhere in that bracket where I can help you.
It's not much.
I made a mistake. Mistakes have been made. My oopsie was I green deepsed.
Now you're the green
decided
taken.
That you needed everybody to see that you were the prettiest princess.
Oh, thank goodness, Seraph's or Cleric Stance ended just in time. that was dangerous. It's a lot of Gabriels.
That is a lot of Gabriel.
I still have aggro on most of them.
I'm still really frustrated they didn't make a zone like this for Endwalker.
Yeah. Instead we got Hand into Things.
Because I would be perfectly happy for there to be like an endless goof around place to hang out in for Endwalker as well, where I was advancing current gear or current relic weapon or current anything really.
Or could play current classes with mechanics that are actually complete for the ones they've rebuilt, like Paladin, that is completely useless outside of 90 now. Yeah, it would be nice, but no, you buy it from a shop.
You buy the things.
I just love the way that Small But Angry complains about the relic weapons, because he's the only mainstream content creator I've seen that that echoes our sentiment. His response to every update on the relic weapons has been, so how do you get the relic weapons in Endwalker? You buy it from a shop, you effing idiot.
And that's it.
Okay, I've got a scold if you can just smack it.
Yeah. And honestly, having them tied behind the Mandeville quest lines is like, just no.
That's just going to wind up the people who don't want to do that crap as well.
Yeah, like
because that's actually a lot of content to troll through. Even if you were the sort of person who just skipped every cutscene, it would take a long time.
Yeah, it's just dumb, mindless activity, and
it also puts a nasty mark on the Manderville quests.
Yeah,
that they're attached to just these garbage relics that have no value to the player base.
Yeah, I don't mind having like the Mandeville weapons being made by Godbert and that whole bit. That's fine. But having to go through what has previously been completely optional content, very silly, unconnected content.
In addition to that, the fact that it's also the relics that you buy from a shop. So the relics tied to the Manderville quest line aren't even valuable.
No.
Yeah, there's like any other end of expansion poetics weapon.
Like, you could have made like a whole quest line where you're exploring the inner recesses of Hildebrand's mind and put one of these zones in there. Good luck with that, by the way. But yeah, it's just something dumb and fun, but it's at least meaningful content.
Yeah, these zones hold a very important place in the MMO ecosystem for Final Fantasy XIV. For both Stormblood and Shadowbangers. And for even throughout Endwalker now, because people keep going back to them, is they act as a way to bridge content divides. To just play, if you just want to play the video game with your friends, but you don't want to sit down and noodle out a Savage Raid and do all the coordination required for that, and you just want to play the video game, and actually play the video game, not some dumb mini game or something, this is the best place to do it. And there is there's nothing like this for Endwalker. It's just so frustrating. And a big reason Endwalker is such a hot piece of garbage in its post content.
Like,
yeah, I think that they. Well, I think that they were assuming that Criterion Dungeons could fulfill the same role, but they kind of dropped the ball on that pretty badly. But that's the sort of thing that's confusing to me, right? Like, if Criterion Dungeons had been the relic grind, the same way that Bosnia is, and you just advance through the series of Criterion Dungeons or whatever, like, that at least would have made some sense to me. Like, I would have been able to understand that, oh, I see what they're going for. The thing that with Criterion Dungeons is not that they're bad or that it's poorly implemented or whatever. It's that I can't see what they were going for. Like, I just have no idea what they thought was going to happen.
Yeah, even if the content in Criterion Dungeons was just the best, look at the sides of the arena, Fern.
Yep.
I'm just going to follow you because I didn't see what order they appeared in.
I had to guess on one of those because I wasn't looking either. I was looking for Fern. I expected him to get whacked.
Nope, I was completely safe on that one. Yeah. Robots turning up at the side of the arena with gaps in their formation is kind of obvious.
You say this.
9S has been plagiarized again.
At least this is a different shooting style. Or 9S. Are they going to make a gap? Are they going to leave me a gap? It's not the gap I thought it was going to be, but there is a gap. And they keep shooting, by the way.
That's a good amount of DACA.
Yep. It's well, not a difficult boss. I do have to see what I'm doing. Oh, ball.
I'll be fine, bro.
Okay,
oh no, maybe I won't.
You gotta show the wall. Show the wall your hole.
In what?
Is it
I'm just not going to do anything. I just find it better to just not do anything. Other people can do damage. I'm just going to make sure I don't die.
Unless I'm already facing the boss, I just don't do anything but the mechanic for that.
Well, I very nearly made it through that. I got messed up on the holes.
Yep, you gotta show them your hole.
Gotta show them your hole. Alright, anything else for your week, or shall we move on?
No, I'm not going to fight you, lion. Go away.
Not qualified for the duel. So no, I don't. I really don't have anything. I'm just salty that that's all I can do in Final Fantasy when I just want to play with my friends is go to flipping Eureka
Hang out
or
with Team Valdesi and Arsenal.
yeah, like the
The
why
most
is it?
toxic group of tards in the game.
Yeah, like why in the flipping world is there no zone like this for Endwalker? Because even if Criterion Dungeons had done everything perfect and had been super fun content, there's still small group content, and this is being out in the world with other people there. As annoying as some of the aspects of being with other people are, it still contributes to the feeling of being in an MMO and just playing the video game. And that just ain't here in Endwalker. There's nothing
It's
like that.
not mingling with people is strictly to your disadvantage. But unless you want to, hang out in Trombone Hero Town, you tend not to see anybody else.
Yeah, freaking Trombone Hero. I cannot turn the music on in Razahana anymore.
It's all.
Yeah. Oh, we are not going to make it in time for this one. This one always dies like immediately. The mobs have no health. I will try to get a Seraph of Flatus off. Oh wow, somebody must have scaled it by accident. Yeah, if this one's not scaled, that's what I just did is enough to kill everything in the CE.
I mean, to be fair, there are a lot of people around, and when there are a lot of people in the zone, the chances of somebody passing by to scale it are pretty high.
Yeah.
I mean, the distance you have to be at is pretty long and quite ambiguous.
Yeah. And I'm not entirely sure it's a perfect circle. For some CEs, geography might mess with it. But yeah. Because there's no zone like this for Endwalker, we cannot play current classes in an environment with other people to work to accomplish an objective, even if that's just to grind out something. Like, that's the whole joy of these exploratory zones, is they give you just something to do when you just want to play the game with your friends.
Just something to grind. Yeah, there is nothing to grind in Endwalker.
Like, if you just want to play Final Fantasy XIV, play with your friends and have the MMO experience of other people being around you, these exploration zones are the perfect answer to it. Even though I hate Eureka with a fiery passion because of all of its other problems, it gets that part right.
Yeah, well, I think it probably would have been a bit more tolerable when it was current content. Like, it would have had its issues still, but, there would have been just such a flood of participation that would have ironed out a lot of that stuff, and there wouldn't be no single clique that was able to take control of it.
Oh, the Lion guy's actually looking like he might do it. Yeah, he's... Oh, no, it's down. Never mind. I lied. he died.
He got
I give mad props to anybody that actually finishes the lion fight, and double mad props to Heffalump Sub.
Yep.
And double mad... Yep. And I'll explain how the spawning works after the show, because I've explained it on the show several times. But, for the Zone 3 fights. I give mad props to anybody that does Lion. Lion is just a straight-up hard fight with tight execution requirements. And a whole lot of crap you gotta memorize. And you have nobody else to fall back on. It's all on you to do it right. And even if you Flare Star cheese it, it's still come to the Heffalump.
It still leaves you enough time to get yourself murdered.
Can't teleport.
Yeah. So,
Someone touched the robot that was following me instead of letting it leash.
So yeah. It's it just baffles me every time I think about it. It's like, I want to play Final Fantasy with my friends. I want to play I would like to play Paladin at max level. I like Paladin at max level. It's still my favorite class to sit down and play right now with the current batch. But it's totally unplayable outside of max level. You might be able to play it at 80. Maybe. But your rotation isn't going to flow right because you're missing a whole 4 GCDs. And before that, you're missing the entire part of the spellcasting half of your combo that actually does damage. So your spell casting just is like your basic rotation, but a little bit more flaccid.
Why did it have to be flaccid?
Why?
But I can't do that. I cannot play this class at max level that I would like to play in a zone like this because there isn't one. And they can make whatever excuses they want. At the end of the day, they have made an MMO video game they're asking for a sub for that I'm paying for, and many other people are paying for. And the mid-core player, like us right now, who are not doing Savage content, but still log on at least once a week and commit multiple hours per week to the game, needs something to do and grind.
Well, the thing is that the cadre of people who get listened to, they consider Savage to be mid-core.
Yeah, they can say that they can say whatever they want, and come up with whatever terminology they want. The people that get on and are willing to put the work in and play the game, but don't want to sit there and go through the hoops to organize Savage content in this game, are a huge contingent of the player base.
Yeah, the thing is that Squeenix knows that, like, their standard statistics is that roughly 10% of the game plays extreme and up in terms of difficulty. The other 90%
Chocobo
are mainly ERPing. So
yeah, but if you just want to play Final Fantasy XIV with your friends, they need to come up with one of these zones for Dawntrail. If they don't have one in Dawntrail, I will seriously be considering looking for another game. As and just coming back for the patches, it'll go into FGO mode. Like I will just be showing up for the story.
Sadly, yeah, I could see myself doing the same. I love this game. It's great, and it kind of really hits the MMO spot in a lot of ways. But just really having nothing there, I can sit down at the current content and just use to achieve progress my character. Because if you want to progress your character at the moment, you hit level 90, and then it's the Alliance raid or the Pandemonium raids, and that's it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why they did that. That's the thing. Like, it's not just that it's bad. I can deal with bad things if I can understand why they're bad, but I don't understand why it's bad this time. Like, I just don't understand what was wrong with the Bosnia formula. Why did they not do it? Why did they do something else instead? And why did they do that thing really, really badly? Like, what was the intended goal? What is their thinking? What is their logic? I want to understand it. Not because I think it'll change anything, but because it bothers me constantly otherwise. Well, I don't understand. They did this thing that seems so irrational. But I mean, like, that's sort of like, we've got this one thing we're complaining about. There's a big thing. I'm not saying it's not a big thing. But, like, for those poor people who are still jacked into World of Warcraft, that's every aspect of the game. Every single one.
And it has been for a long, long time.
Yeah, that one has no RP. It just pops. I can't see that one ahead of time.
Yeah.
I can't cheat with this one. And like I said, I don't normally feel the need to cheat in Baja at all, because Baja is much more friendly in design towards the player in general. All right, I have flatest it. We should have gold.
He just got deleted.
Yeah, I have flatest it. That did my combo. And it crit, and he lost 45% of his HP in one spellcast.
That's bonkers.
Green Deeps.
Green Deeps.
So, I mean, yeah, it's, I just, man, I do feel bad for the people that are still plugged into WoW. It is really bad. And this, well, we can put a pin in this for a pseudo topic that I kind of want to touch on.
All right.
I don't know the specifics of it, and I don't know what you guys' opinion of is it. What you guys may know the specifics of on it with, but we'll put a pin in that because I think we might be able to spin that into a pseudo topic with World of Warcraft and why all of a sudden the copium is starting to wear off. The out of sync seas about, or out of sync fates about to spawn over here. The one with the Famfrit chain.
All right. In that case, we do have an email we should read before we get into that.
Yep, we got a long RP and a long walk there. So,
right. This email is from our good buddy Serithus, and he writes, "Dear No Excuses. So, remember when Magicka released and half the internet was like, that's it. We have a game of the year and it's only just April." I was like that when earlier this year, I'm trying to read this without looking at my main screen. I was like that when earlier this year, MyHouse.pk3 released for Doom. I don't want to go into that topic too much. You should experience it for yourselves. Before I go on reading this, I'm going to at least tag this fate because I won't be able to do much else.
Yep, go for it.
Okay. I don't want to go into that topic too much. You should experience it for yourself. Suffice to say that the nomination thread for notable releases on the Doom World forum was renamed to "You Don't Have to Nominate My House Again." And that the creator's wife's Tumblr got tracked down because it really was his house.
She still uses Tumblr?
People took the... Well, it's a woman, so...
He said the creators...
People took the ARG aspect of My House a bit too seriously. But everything changed when Insanity Edge released in September. Not to be confused with Insanity's Edge. This made by the same team, taking place in the same continuity. This map set took visual flair to a whole new level. Somewhat story-oriented, what starts out as a simple retrieve hell fuel from an abandoned base turns into an atmospheric romp through the dark underground base with great fight choreography. When you finally see the sun in the last level, it is generally is a sigh of relief. Also, if you track down the extremely well-hidden logs, the whole thing turns into a meta-commentary about story writing and narrative. And you also get a different ending. Since I haven't written in months, you get more Doom. Remember when Vor's mine was blown away by Lost Civilization because it had green vegetation and greenery doesn't fit in Doom? Well, I was blown away because it had huge, open, realistic, non-linear maps that were a joy to explore. Well, Lost Civilization 2 released and it's very different. Much shorter. The whole thing feels a lot more like a stream of consciousness. At one moment, you are going to work, then you are beset by demons, then you quit your job. Go on a vacation.
Follow-up that'll spawn, by the way. Might not be
explore a tranquil village and a hidden underground base. Some parts feel like a nightmare, some parts feel like levels from Half-Life. Also, you have destructible terrain at certain segments, so you can literally blow holes in the wall. Since the email is long enough, I'll just mention the final bit. I have made the mistake of checking back on Genshin. 3 years worth of content to not catch up to. I'm just wasting time until the next content patch for Star Rail is out. Serithus. My house was not supposed... This is an asterisk that I didn't see earlier. My house was not supposed to be an ARG. It was supposed to be a creepypasta about someone's ghost-making map. The whole thing became unbelievable, not because the supernatural element of your childhood's friend's spirit editing your map when you're not looking, but because the whole thing was given to him on a floppy disk. Who even has a disk drive in 2023?
I have a floppy drive. I have it at the office. And we use it to read Granddaddy's old files that he has in the back room for his engineering AutoCAD documents.
I don't think I've got one anymore. I'd have to check. I think I sold my last one.
Oh,
I have no way of getting out of that. Absolutely impossible.
You got flooshed?
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Literally nothing I could have done.
Yeah. I might
I'll get
have
you up once one of the two is dead.
Might have a disk drive.
Well, I haven't got a tag
somewhere.
I've got to get a tag, man.
Tag! There we go. Press the tag, go!
Oh, is he Flushin?
He's a Flushin. Well, his little mini-me's a Flushin.
Oh, he's Flushin. No,
oh, why? That's not fair. Come on,
Flushin.
man.
Big Flushin coming.
It's fine. I'll just play with this guy.
This guy's Flushes means serious business. He's big on the Flushin.
He does love him some Flush.
He's gonna wash your feet. Make you wash your feet.
Don't like that.
In the English dub of Persona 4 Arena Ultimax, Labris has a very, very thick, fake British accent. One of the new characters, who's like Igus.
Yep.
And whenever she does a sweeping attack, she says, "Watch your feet," but it comes out as "Wash your feet."
I don't appear to have a disk drive in my old computer either. There's still an optical in there, but
Yeah.
I don't think that case even has bays for them. Yeah, I must have sold my last one.
Yeah.
I wonder if I can still buy a new one if I want one. Though I'm not really sure how I would plumb it in since I don't have any IDE channels anymore.
No, you can just buy USB ones now.
Serathus! I actually know the mod you're talking about.
Oh?
I watched a video on this thing. It was in the YouTube recommends for me, and I clicked on it and put it on the background just by chance. So the My House mod is a mod for Doom, where you go through this guy's house, and by doing a whole lot of weird esoteric stuff that the community had to work together to figure out, you can find secret locations and secret items to unlock the endings to the game.
Mm-hmm.
Or to the mod. And it's just his house, but going through it, you have to do all kinds of weird stuff, like find an item that lets you jump into the mirror, that lets you go to a inverted house, and then jump in the toilet and go into this Escher staircase down into the water, underwater, and go up into the sky above the garage and do platforming that in this section that wasn't there before. It's really trippy and weird, but it was kind of cool. All the ways he had found to put it together and just totally warp the map while still keeping the same structure of the house being the house, and each time it changed, even if you can barely recognize it.
Neat. So yeah, I love
I'm
mods
find
like that.
somebody
They do
who will
something.
sell a floppy drive, but I can't find anybody. There's lots of people selling cables and brackets and bays, but there's a couple of mostly repair places sell them now.
Yeah, Effluent's popping. The RP's going. But yeah, I'm surprised I actually knew about a Doom mod Serathus talked about for once.
Yay!
Yeah, and yeah, I still use floppy drives. I don't. Well, use floppy drives is a.
Yeah, it's a bit of a crapshoot.
It's a bit of a stretch. It's more like floppy drives are available as a resource I can pull AutoCAD drawings from.
Yeah.
Okay, I did one Afflatus on that Heffalump, and it almost died. So, quick hit,
Yeah, I tagged it. We're good.
Well, you can't take credit for all the damage because everybody else is unleashing their openers at the same time.
Yeah. It's like Alpha Strikes for days.
Well, the Heffalump was chasing me after I hit escape after it the entire time it was alive. So
that doesn't mean anything though. It just means you did. If you did 1% more damage than the next guy, the same thing would happen.
Yeah, I wonder. Let me see. Hard drives, SSD, graphics cards. Optical drives, CD drives.
man, we have.
Sure, I still have an optical lying around. I don't. I was like thinking about like what happens if I buy a music CD? Like,
Yeah.
Is there a code?
Like, looking at my usual computer parts supplier, they don't have any floppy drives at all. They've barely got CD drives.
yeah, I've got a drive of some description in my old PC that's not plugged in anymore. That's I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's DVD or a CD drive or what, because it just has LG written on it and nothing else.
Yeah, that's LG. They do that.
It's not useful.
It's completely useless. Yes.
Chocobo.
Chicken.
I would presume it can probably play DVDs. Whether it can write them or not, I don't know.
Yeah. Like, Ones they've got here are like DVD right, Blu-ray right. I've never seen blank Blu-rays anywhere.
Oh, I ran out of chain spells.
Oh my.
But yeah.
I popped my cooldowns, but I didn't get to fire anything.
So yeah, thank you for the email there, Sarathus. So I am afraid we are about to enter the game season again. So as much as I'd like to see
Already?
yeah.
Didn't they just happen?
Again, yes. So yeah, you're going to see the usual suspects jumping up and down about Game of the Year and all over the place. About now-ish, usually. Although, yeah, I suspect that they're going to be given to Horizon Forbidden West or something dumb like that. So anyway.
Yeah, we'll have time to complain about that when the time
When it rolls
comes.
around, yeah. When is it, actually? Have a look.
So, given our light news topics, while Fern does that,
Here we go. December 7th. So the week before Rantathon.
good, that'll give us a few hours in Rantathon. So, we have a trend I've noticed going on with World of Warcraft. The mage just popped. The Dragonflight coat supply seems to have run dry, or is running low.
Yeah, it's been running low for a while, but I think it's run out now.
Yeah, like I've seen just videos pop in my recommended feed about how bad Dragonflight is all of a sudden.
Yeah, I've watched actually some content about it because I still have an enduring morbid curiosity about World of Warcraft. But the sort of the more nuanced takes that I've seen about it tend to converge on an idea like it's not necessarily that the mechanics are bad. It's more that because the mechanics are adequate, but the game is the same, like the general layout of the game is the same as it always was, and the framing device is so like incoherent and non-compelling that the entire vibe of the game is kind of bad. So even if they would enjoy the exact same activities in a different context, because there's no competent driving narrative, everything feels way more blah than it would otherwise.
Yeah, and that's going to be hard to fix. I don't know if you can fix that because they have.
Well, they
have
can't fix it with their current writing team. Their current writing team are totally incompetent. That's why they're constantly trumpeting about Metzen, because they think he's going to be the great savior. But
even if Metzen was all that in a bag of chips, like they have a damaged IP. They don't just have a stagnant IP or one that's hit a few bumps.
It's not just their IP that's damaged either.
No.
Yeah.
If it was just their IP, then all they need to do is repair the IP. The problem is that as much as the IP being the framing device for the game that is World of Warcraft is damaged, the company that is the framing device for the IP is also damaged.
I'm not sure you can actually repair that.
You're fighting an uphill battle with customer opinions on that. Like, it's just going to be rough.
Yeah.
I mean, they have a solution. There is a way out. And that's basically for Microsoft to noisily fire a bunch of people and then say, okay, this Blizzard is not the same as the old Blizzard anymore. We already got rid of all the dead wood and we're going to rebuild it from the ground up. Like, they have the means to do that because they've had a takeover.
Yeah, and that's, I think, from a storyline point of view, that's what Metz needs to do too, is he needs to make the big, noisy cuts.
But he needs to just... He needs to do something radical, like, say, the previous few expansions just flat didn't happen.
Well, that's leading on to what people are kind of asking for at this point, is like Classic, everyone liked Classic until even though they put a lot of monetization into it, it was still Classic. And the zeitgeist I've been hearing is basically do not release Cataclysm.
You don't have to run out of this, by the way. It gets interrupted.
Oh, okay. Wait,
The
Heffalump?
NPC.
I think that having an orange that you don't run out of is setting a bad precedent for my muscle memory.
It is.
Yeah.
But,
The
yeah.
NPC stops that one.
Yeah, all the people have been saying basically is don't release Cataclysm, branch off a new story, branch off a new
Because
experience.
people want a product they can look to as World of Warcraft, because currently looking to the current World of Warcraft just makes you feel embarrassed. Like, people don't want to look at that, and they don't want to see Classic just imitate the same path which led them into perdition. Like, there's no advantage there. There's nothing to be gained by doing that, except to gain all of the hard knocks that you took last time.
Yeah. Just call live done. I don't think you can recover live.
It's tough.
Maybe you can, but I don't think that dividing their resources in that way is productive. I mean, the thing is that they're never going to call live done, because so much work has been done on, like, the mechanical aspect of it, like the tuning of the classes and that sort of thing. And generally speaking, most people are, like, at least moderately happy with the layout of the classes now. No, there are not that many people are screaming for a rebuild, other than maybe Hunters, because Hunters are always screaming for a rebuild.
It's what they do.
But they're just not, like, the problem. The problem with Blizzard in the past has always been that they are incapable of eating humble pie. That they just don't ever. They don't. They even when they are, quote, learning a lesson, unquote, they never are willing to just let go of everything. They always keep some germ of what there was in the past, and which is why they have always gone downhill. Even when they've recognised their mistakes, they still continue to go downhill because they can't let go of their sacred cows.
I think our instance is dead, Joe.
I think it might be.
Yeah, I don't see anybody else. I don't know what's happened in here.
I think it died and people have left and stuff is stopping spawning.
There's literally 8 people here.
Yeah, that's what happened. Instance died.
Instance died.
So go back, turning crap, and we'll call. Well, we can do Attack of the Machines.
Well, we could do that.
That we definitely accidentally scaled because we were running right on top of it. But yeah, it's
Yeah, I don't think that they should continue with Classic as it is. Like, the opinion has always been, and this is not new at all. The opinion has always been that it should have been a RuneScape 1, RuneScape 2 thing. It shouldn't have been, oh well, we will just follow the same path displaced 9 years in time, or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That wasn't what anybody asked for. People asked for Classic WoW because they wanted Classic WoW. They didn't want to just relive their whole experience going from Classic WoW to Modern WoW. That wasn't what people wanted. People wanted the essence of Classic WoW to play again. It wasn't even that they necessarily wanted to play vanilla World of Warcraft. They just wanted that game, that type of game back again. One that wasn't like this incredibly crushing content treadmill that they now occupy. There's not really any call for nobody has said yes, we desperately want Cataclysm to come out.
No, they've said the opposite. We have BlizzCon in this coming week.
Yeah, and there's a lot of debate as to what they could possibly announce here to try and restore faith.
If some of the new Microsoft bigwigs just walk out on the stage and they're carrying a battle axe, and they're going to start taking things, that would be a good start. Because, like, one of the big things that Blizzard's got going at the moment, they've got World of Warcraft and Classic, which are both... Classic's in a good place because people are still enjoying that. But Live is basically dead. The copium's run out. You've got Overwatch 2, which has been a disaster right from the get-go. And you've got Diablo Immortal 2 currently running. I refuse to call it anything else because once someone pointed out what they were doing, you can't unsee it. Yeah, Diablo 4 is basically Diablo Immortal 2. Done. It's irredeemable. And I think, they need to go through everything, start carving away what does not work, strip everything right back to the bare beginnings, and go from there.
Well, they've just burned too much stuff to the ground. Like the environment in which you had a sort of like very fragile and tense détente between two very pugnacious factions, generating sort of like an ambiance of tension and we're not at war, but we will be in 5 minutes. The way things are looking, type of thing. And there are pockets of outbreaks of skirmishes and war that are unofficial, but definitely, what subsists in that is war. Like, that environment, they've killed all of that stone dead and they can't ever have it back.
Well, yeah, now you've got cross-faction dungeons, cross-faction content. A lot of it. The dividing line is gone between the two factions. That whole plot thread is basically dead.
Yeah,
I just misclicked and dropped a quest and I don't know what quest it was. I need to look it up on the wiki so I can pick it up again and hope it didn't destroy any quest items.
If you lost all your gears and crap.
I mean, I lost something.
Whoops.
I don't know what it was.
You can check your log.
Lost a thing.
There is a space in my inventory. I don't know what I lost from it. Hopefully it was just in notes or something.
Hopefully, yes.
Okay, it was not something important.
Okay.
It was an old quest from that anima line.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
So I think
It's just, do we know if there was inciting incident that caused the copium to suddenly run dry? Because it seemed to have happened very abruptly when the copium just stopped.
I heard that they released a major patch that was it had some incredibly like cringelord name. I don't know if this is the inciting incident, but it's something I heard people talking about. I think it's called like Fury Incarnate or something like that. And apparently the plot of during the patch, like the storyline advanced with like 5 minutes of content or something like that.
Ugh.
And nothing happened. And everybody's like, what?
Why bother?
You just made a big deal about this, but nothing happened? There's like nothing happening? And generally speaking, I think people are very frustrated by the simple fact that everybody is all buddy-buddy now. And it's all... There's no gravity behind anything. It's all like every quest is kind of a joke. There's nothing serious ever taking place. Everybody is friends with everybody else. It's like all of the characters are Mary Sue's. Every plot decision they make is like asinine. Like apparently they are just like, from what people have data mined, they're just literally moving the entire Night Elf race to the Dragon Isles.
I heard about that.
As
Yes.
the new home or something like that, which nobody wants. Like there's literally nobody who thinks that's a good idea except Blizzard.
Burning their house down in the first place was a bad idea.
Yeah, well, apparently that was like the what's his name, Afrasiabi's last coked out of his head idea of what to do with the story before they sacked him.
Yeah.
And he was like, trust me, I've got a plan. And he burns down Teldrassil or whatever that tree was called.
Yeah, that was it.
And then he gets fired. So nobody knows if he really had a plan or if he was just completely coked out of his skull.
Yeah. The result being that they ended up sending Sylvanas down some sort of self-destructive wacko spiral.
Well, you mean she put on mascara and got really angry and then Elune stopped her from being angry and it was over?
Yeah, pretty much that. And everything was fine all of a sudden.
And Malfurion says and does nothing. And apparently doesn't even appear in this expansion.
Right. Even though, isn't there a whole plot thread surrounding Ysera and her daughter, apparently? I don't know.
Well, even if it is, nothing matters because nobody cares about any of these characters.
We used to.
Yeah.
Like the Anduin, who people had enough issues with Anduin as it was, but he spent the entire of knockoff Shadowbringers being like evil and possessed and doing horrible things or whatever, and apparently he hasn't had any like residual effects. Like he doesn't worry about the fact that he was a bad guy or anything.
I mean, he was whiny and angsty before. He gets possessed. He's still whiny and angsty. What's changed?
Well, he was never whiny and angsty, and that's sort of the problem.
He was always whiny.
Well, you're just conflating the fact that he was a child character with him being whiny.
Yeah,
Like he never whined about anything. He was a peacenik. That was what he was. He didn't whine. That's something you're projecting on him because he was a bad character, and so you remember that as him being whiny. When really he was just a one-note peacenik who didn't have anybody who agreed with him.
Yes.
The problem is that they tried to do a thing with his character that is to make him a baddie, and a peacenik who becomes a baddie is going to be more torn up than any other normal person who is a baddie. Like, if Saurfang got possessed and did some bad things, he would be apologetic about it, but he would move on with his life.
Yes.
A pathological dove is going to be a lot more torn up about that type of thing. Except he's not. He doesn't care because nobody cares about him, and the writers probably forgot he exists.
They probably did.
Like there's just it's basic. Like basically everything comes down to total narrative incompetence, because everybody on the writing team is the dungeon master who is way more concerned about telling this cool story they want to tell than what any of their players want to do.
That their original character don't steal.
Well, it's in a environment like a video game, having that type of mentality is even more dangerous than in tabletop. You can still enjoy a session with a DM that's very railroady and going to make sure you go through their story if the story's good.
Not if the DM doesn't care if you're enjoying it or not.
Yeah, this is a video game where interaction with play and with the characters themselves is done at the agency of the player without the need for input by anybody else. If your story's hot garbage and you're playing you're dead set on railroading them, you're in for a bad time. There's just it feels like it's even worse because it's a video game is what I'm trying to say.
But it's not just that it's a video game, it's that it's World of Warcraft. And World of Warcraft has, in that particular narrative dimension, a core weakness that Final Fantasy doesn't have, in that the player is a nobody. The characters is everybody else, except you. You aren't important.
It's kind of...
Despite the fact that you do everything that matters, you still aren't important.
Yeah.
And so nobody will acknowledge you or pay any attention to you. They will just do whatever the writer is interested in.
Yeah, like all those instances, particularly in this expansion, it's apparently gotten really bad that like you've done all these things, you've contributed to all this stuff, and yet the main characters still don't remember your name. They just treat you as some common schlub who's walked out of the military. Maybe one that's slightly decorated, but beyond that, no.
The Warrior of Light.
I don't even think that it's a problem that you're a schlub. The issue is that if the story that was being told around you was sufficiently compelling, then it wouldn't matter that you're a schlub. But the problem is the story is told with a total disregard for the player's existence. Like, the story really does not care what you do. You have no involvement in it whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh, well, there's this trivial footnote there. And then the thing got done. I don't really care who did it, because now we're going to have this dramatic and emotional moment with characters that nobody is emotionally attached to because they're busy hobnobbing with other people who they actually care about off screen.
Yeah. There's a lot of the official recaps of plots, and it's like, character X defeated villain bad guy Y in this big climactic showdown. There may have been some adventurers there, maybe.
I mean,
if they even mention that at all.
That's the reason why I found Shadowbringers was so powerful. Like, what a lot of people think that the particular arc didn't carry on long enough, and I'm inclined to somewhat agree. But the part where the Warrior of Light is basically breaking down from the inside, and the only thing anybody can do is watch it happen, and the way it completely tears up the rest of the Scions, just they're forced to just watch you die in real time, and there's nothing that they can do because this is the only solution anybody knows for this problem, and everything is falling apart, and then it all turns out to be for nothing in the end anyway, because the skies get blotted out with light, and you're just vomiting white crap everywhere, and there's nothing anybody can do. And they are visibly distraught about this, and are desperate to find something, anything they can do, but there is nothing, and it's really, really damages everybody emotionally, even if they aren't willing to admit it.
Yeah.
Like, if you've got, you know, that private moment where you pick one of the characters to talk to, and you pick Y'shtola, who's the most detached and academically minded member of the Scions, because even Urianger shows more emotion than Y'shtola normally does.
Yes.
And yet she's still, like, behind her demeanor, her cool demeanor, she's visibly panicking because she can see better than anybody else that you're breaking down, and she can't fix it. And she fixes everything. It's like her role in the plot to fix things.
If you're going to go through that cutscene, I recommend you do Y'shtola's route, because the mask cracks visibly in that cutscene. Don't do Estinians.
Because he's basically not capable of anything other than a bro down.
Yeah, basically he just throws himself out a window. That's his contribution.
He was on his way out somewhere else, and your window was the closest place to go.
Yeah, and Graha just fanboys. But
yeah, like that sort of connection between the other important characters in the story and your character is what sells the story. Like, they can see what's happening to you, you can see what's happening to them, and it matters to the both of you. And that ties you into the events. There is nothing that ties you to anything in Azeroth at all. You have no membership in anything and don't belong anywhere. You are like the rootless cosmopolitan in the real world that everybody working for Blizzard is.
yeah, at best you are there.
Like, I remember, like, back in vanilla when people were actually attached to their faction and would butt heads with other people on the forums because they thought their faction was cooler and better, and they would squabble over it because they cared about their place in the world. They saw Orgrimmar as their capital, or they saw Undercity as their home, or whatever. Like, they were attached to it, they were attached to the experience, they were attached to the territories controlled by their faction. Like, those were, you know, places that belonged to them in some sense. Nobody belongs anywhere in World of Warcraft anymore.
Yeah,
I mean, the Warrior of Light in FF14 might be a wanderer, but home is always wherever the Scions are to the Warrior of Light.
It's just they just happen to be a dude that everybody knows and is super strong, and if they show up in an area, they have their own line item on the insurance claims.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if the premiums for the Warrior of Light are really, really high because they get involved in the end of the world every 5 minutes, or if they're very, very low because if anything can bring down the Warrior of Light, the end of the world's going to happen anyway, so they won't have to pay out.
Yeah. But it's an insurance company, so they'll just charge the highest possible premium as it is.
It could be. It's probably run by the Syndicate and all day anyway, so...
Yeah, it is.
Sell hero insurance to a lot of people. If the hero shows up in your town and wrecks your shop, we'll pay to replace him.
Depends.
You definitely need this insurance because the hero goes everywhere and you have no idea where it's gonna pop up.
He's been reclassified as an act of the gods, and so you can't get claims on him.
It's a force of nature. But that's another big thing I really like about Final Fantasy's storyline. It's like, yes, it's the Chosen One story, but I think they do it well. You're not the Chosen One just because you were chosen. A whole lot of people were chosen. But
not only are you the Chosen One, but you're also the chosen dunderhead who can barely think.
Yes.
No matter how clever your character is in their own lore, and that exists within your head, your character is always just like, you know, I think I've been hit in the head one too many times.
Yes.
Every single Miqo'te cat girl has the same, I can't believe I'm doing this again. Alright, I'll just roll with it expression. In, like, every cutscene.
Yep.
You're the chosen
he
one,
just
but
goes
you're
with it.
also sort of like you're only the chosen one. Like part of the story of Endwalker and End of Shadowbringers, beginning of Endwalker is that you are only ever the chosen one by coincidence. Really, like it's just a thing that happened, and you get tossed this way and that through the winds of fortune and misfortune, and it is ultimately your willingness to keep pressing forward that makes you the hero. It's not the fact that you were the chosen one. Even though you were chosen, it turns out nobody really did the choosing.
Yeah, you kind of chose yourself.
Well, you literally chose yourself by going back in time and setting it all up for yourself.
Well, that's true.
Now you still had to be special and be in the right place at the right time for all those dominoes to fall into place to get you to go back in time. But it was still your character's agency and actions that led them to getting the things like the blessing of light from Heidelin and stuff.
Yeah.
Depending on what you believe about stable time loops.
Yes. But yeah, I think it's just very, very well done. You're not really, well, you are super special at the end. At this point in the game, you're super special. But when you start out, you're just a schlub, and you work your way up from there.
The upshot of all of this is that no matter what happens in the story, whether it's intriguing or banal, it's got a certain amount of gravity to it. Like, you carry the gravity around with you. When you show up on the beach at Midsummer to encourage the plebs to be brave, like, it means something to the NPCs because it comes from you.
Yeah, even if you are running around in a stupid costume.
Yeah, even if you've got a chocobo head on and are wearing a thong.
Yes.
Like, it's still like, well, I mean, we know he's a bit touched in the head, but he's still the warrior of light.
Yes,
I mean, you see the things that the Warrior of Light is seeing. You're probably going to be a little bit out there as well.
It's like, well, I mean, he can cut off the head of a god with butter knife. So, I mean, he's earned his right to dress like that.
Yeah, just roll with it.
Yeah, he killed Twitter.
He did.
But yeah, World of Warcraft has nothing like that. They have no kind of attachment to the character anymore. They don't even have attachment to the community anymore. Because people used to, while you were still a nobody in the story of Classic and so on, you still could attach to the community itself because there was community interaction. You could develop a reputation and an identity through the small things by like what type of gear you had, how well respected you were for whatever role you played in groups throughout various pickup groups on the server, what guild you were in, how you interacted with other people. You could still establish a story for yourself in the community and become notable that way. But that is dead too.
And to bring this full circle to Bosja, this is the risk of not doing Bosja. If you, I know Yoshi P's very much of the mindset that, oh, you don't have to marry yourself to one video game, you can stop playing for a while and go play something else. Like, I understand that, and I understand the value of that. However, if you develop a fully itinerant player base who is engaged with nothing but log on to raid when a new raid tier is out and do nothing else to immerse yourself in the rest of the game and mingle with the community, if you generate a player base like that is completely detached from the world and events because they only see it as there is a couple of embedded playground rides which I'm going to play on when the sun is shining and then go home, then you're going to erode that feeling of home that people have from spending time in Eorzea, which is what causes everything to hang together and why nobody has any attachment to Azeroth. Nobody has any attachment to Azeroth because nobody spends any time in Azeroth, and I went through this myself. I would log off outside of the Tomb of Sargeras and then log in on raid night outside the Tomb of Sargeras and step indoors. Like, that was World of Warcraft in that era for me.
Yeah.
I did not care what was going on anywhere else. I didn't have time for that because I had become completely detached from Azeroth because it's, oh, well, I live in a generic city in the sky now, I guess, and I drop down onto the beach where this black tower is and walk inside, kill a bunch of beasties, and then log off for the week. Like, that was the game. There was no places I went. I didn't hang out in game.
Yeah, with no Final Fantasy has like, okay, we live in our district in the Goblet, and we do our home shop in there and our retainer management there, and we go to Shirogane to go play with the subs and mess around the guild house a little bit, and then we go adventuring in the adventure areas where there are people
from the previous expansion.
Yes.
We go adventuring on the island of Zadnor and go sit in the crater if we have to. But
there is no playground for Endwalker. There is no place that you go when you're not sitting at home.
Yeah, like
because there's only instance content and what?
Yeah. They cannot afford to not do this again, because as I brought up before in previous weeks, the grinds we are going through right now with Baja and the one I'm going through with Eureka are post-nerf. They are much faster grinds than they were when they were current content, thus they can be chewed through with enough diligence. And I am starting to get to a point where I'm running out of them, because every single relic grind has been cut down. And you can't not have these zones if you want to keep people there, to keep the patches glued together and to keep a community there talking, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in these zones in terms of alternate play or min-maxing your play just within the zones. The duels in Baja were a great idea for that. They made me really sit down and noodle out how the mechanics of the game work, how the timing on casts work, how ability timings work with bosses, how to min-max the green deeps to do the silly stuff I do when I go in there now. And not everybody's going to do that, but it gives you options. It gives you things to do, a way to play the game that is very much so still Final Fantasy XIV, but just out there with a ton of objectives to accomplish for all different types of skill levels and all different types of investment levels.
And I think that there's another problem that hasn't been made manifest yet, in that basically when the next expansion comes out, like part of what enabled Final Fantasy XIV to become the current juggernaut was its job system and the fact you can level multiple jobs on a single character. When the next expansion comes out, there is going to be a funneling of people who previously you could do most of your high-end leveling in Bosnia if you wanted to, which gave you an alternative approach to spending all your time in roulette or all your time in leveling dungeons or grinding fates or whatever other approach you decided to use. Bosnia was an alternative option. That the power of that's going to diminish pretty quickly when the EXP curve extends in Dawntrail. And so you're going to end up with a situation where people are trying to level their alternative jobs or even level their character up or whatever. And they're going to hit this funnel point where they were doing something like Bosnia and then all of a sudden it doesn't work anymore and they get funneled back into leveling roulette whether they like it or not. And suddenly that you've taken away an option because you decided to do a different form of development in one expansion. And there's invariably going to be people falling away because of that. And we haven't seen it yet because it's currently Bosnia still effective for the last bracket of leveling that we've got, but I don't know if it'll remain effective for the next one.
Yeah, it's effective. It's not optimal, but it is effective. And you can get levels up to 90 with it.
Well, the thing is, optimal is to do nothing but grind leveling roulette. And I mean, there aren't going to be that many people who only want to do that if they've got multiple options on the table instead.
Yeah, because people have their days that they're free, and it's usually in chunks of time. And the daily reset is daily. You got to wait until the reset time, so you can't just do that. But yeah, I know what you mean.
And also, you have to keep in mind also that Bosnia floods you with poetics for catch-up gear.
Yeah. And gear is irrelevant in Baja itself unless you're like me and bought the Baby Haste set, which I forgot to equip. I just realized I was doing Baja without my haste. I wondered why my casts were so slow. Gosh darn it.
I will.
But that answers that question. But yeah, Baja does a good job with all that. Eureka, not so much. Eureka is level 70 only. Eureka has the aforementioned elemental levels, and that's a big problem. But Baja is a clear continuation of Eureka. All the mechanics in Baja are evolutions of very obvious problems that Eureka had that the dev team must be aware of.
On account of having fixed them.
Yeah. The way that actions work now, where they just drop. You don't have to put them in the oven and combine fragments like ingredients to make the action you actually want with a failure chance. And they go into a holster now that you carry between zone ends, and your custom actions stay saved to your character. They don't literally get deleted if you leave with any charges left on it. The way critical engagements work, where you queue up and show up at the equivalent of the NM, and they actually have mechanics now where you have to pay a little bit of attention, and you'll probably die on the first time for a good chunk of them. But there's something you can learn and engage with, and are a little more brain tingly than your standard, just NM that has no mechanics of any note. And but they're not so difficult that you can't eventually get into muscle memory with them if you get on a roll and just keep doing Baja. Like, all Baja's stuff is just fixes on and improvements on Eureka, and I was very hopeful for another similar type of content in Endwalker until they announced they weren't going to do one, because I wanted to see where they continued it. Because they had a good thing going. Things like the duel system to really give the hardcore players, or the people that just want to challenge, that where they don't have to go through the organization of putting together, a full Savage raid. They were a great compromise with the notoriety system, ensuring that as long as you looked up the mechanics and really learned how to pop those particular duels, and made sure you had enough time to sit down, prep it, and do the CE and the duel on attempts when you were ready to give it a serious college try, you could sit down and learn them, and they were tough and rewarding fights, and that was an option out there. You got just sitting there fate grinding if you just want to shoot the crap in the Zadnor crater. Like, you can cluster farm out there and get stuff that sells for a good bit, because it takes a lot of clusters to be able to buy the stuff that sells on the market board. There's all kinds of play you can do. You can just spam Dalradias and Lacus Litores if you want to get the high-value fragments there to go sell those, or to try and get some of the rare mounts. Yeah, or if you're Ibu and trying to get the field notes that way instead of doing the duel. I finally made him break down and just do that duel with me playing Marking Buddy. Like, all this stuff is just good ideas for all levels of play that allows for constant engagement at whatever degree you want.
And this is actually why I'm sort of like anxiously looking forward to the next patch in FF14 now, is because what has made me nervous about them omitting that zone type content is their refusal to surrender their spot on the idea that the current version of Relic Weapons is a good idea. And the closest thing that the closest thing that will to restoring my confidence will be if they break from that, if they back down from that. They eat humble pie and realise that no, actually, nothing we've done has been engaging. Nobody cares about Criterion. Nobody cares about Relic Weapons, because no part of that process is engaging. No part of that process is directed or has a goal or a reward associated with it that is truly meaningful. Like, if they said that they were going to back down on that for a Criterion, and we don't know anything about the next step of the Relic quest, so if they back down on that way of doing things, if they show some sort of contrition over what they've done before, then maybe we can look forward to the next expansion with a bit more confidence. But they haven't announced one way or the other if they're doing zone type content again.
Yeah,
for Dawntrail. And if they decide that they're going to fortify their position on Relics and Criterion as the way they're going to do things going forward, then I think we're in trouble for the next expansion.
That's a potential break point for me. If they do that again, I might be out. Because right now, I keep my sub active to keep my house and to play with you guys on the weekends. Like, that's it.
Yeah, because there's little else.
There is no current content. There is no Zadnor for me to go grind up relic weapons for, to go make progress in, to go try and learn duels in or something. I can't do any of that.
But RSTL, you don't have all of your time-worn artifacts yet.
This is why I'm not so sanguine on the Criterion could be used as a vector for relic weapons, because the idea of spamming instance content, the same dungeon no less, multiple times for every tier, makes me want to shoot myself in the head. But
that's the thing, though, that what is characteristic about the previous relic weapons is that there have been multiple clearly defined options for how to tackle it.
Yeah,
it wasn't like, oh well, you have to clear this raid particular over and over again. No, they never asked you to do that, and nor have they ever asked you up until now to just farm this many tomestones, and yeah, we don't really care about how you do it. Just get tomestones, and then bring me tomestones. It'll be just like when you're doing your catch-up gear. Like it's previously, it was like, well, what have we currently got here? I'm doing the one-time grind, the big one, and it's like, well, you can do these critical engagements, or you can do these skirmishes, or you can go and do these old raids. If you particularly like a raid series, then you'll have no problem going and doing that, will you? If you particularly dislike a raid series, well, you've got this other option. You can go and do these critical engagements instead. Like, you've got two clearly defined options. You can tackle the grind this way, or you can tackle the grind that way. Same thing applies to time-worn artifacts. It's like, well, if you are if you're down with the Delubrum Reginae, then you can go that route. If you don't really like that at all, or find it a pain in the butt to organise teams for, or you just don't like the system or whatever, it's certainly got its problems. Well, there is this other option, and not necessarily saying it's better.
In theory, it exists.
If your luck is profoundly poor, then maybe that option doesn't exist. But they still provided you with a different approach. You didn't have to do it the one way.
No, and most of the progress I've made on it has been through the alternate way, through just running a whole lot of Palace of the Dead.
And that's the thing. Like, a lot of people in the people who are very pro the current approach to relic weapons, aka the people who don't use them at all because they're hardcore raiders, those people, they want it that way so that they can get their alt weapon easily. Like, they are thinking about it from a 100% pragmatic, serves my personal purposes point of view. So they don't care. They've got these tomestones kicking around they don't care about because they don't buy tomestone gear, because it's not the current thing. They only buy the hotness tomestones gear. They don't buy the old tomestone gear. So they don't care about that. But the directedness of the activity makes it feel more meaningful. If the NPC literally says, I don't care what you do, just bring me the currency, then there's not really there's no directedness to drive you to do it. It's like, nobody would meaningfully go and kill bears out in the wilderness for no reason. Like, we go and kill bears because a quest giver told us to kill bears and collect their asses. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And the directedness of it is important.
That directed nature gives it a through line in your head with a narrative story of how you got this weapon and the trials you had to go through to overcome it, because your options were limited to one or two vectors of acquiring whatever you need for the weapon for that particular step. You remember how arduous that grind was and all the effort and work you had to put through it. And it gives the weapon at the end, even if it's ugly, it gives it a certain weight, a feeling of accomplishment, even if it was just a grind.
That is the literal narrative, though, as well, right? Like, that's why you get it particularly strongly in the Bosya weapons and the animal weapons, where, like, in this case, you're collecting memories. Oh, so these are all the things we went through. And imbuing the weapon with going through all of these trials is what makes the weapon special, as opposed to imbuing it with Mandeville sweat.
Yeah. The specter of these relic weapons, I think, is going to really come to bite with the community once it's not current content anymore. And
I don't think that the developers have perceived the externalities that this will have, because there will be many effects and they will be subtle. It will not be obvious that they are the cause of them.
Yeah, the second that this isn't current content, the hardcore raiders are going to stop praising it, and they're going to become poetics, and people are going to be just using it as a poetic stump, and nobody will want to use these weapons unless it's the only relic they got, or it goes with a very specific glam. That's about it.
I think that this is likely to be, to some extent, an outgrowth of the monarchic nature of Japanese development. Like, Yoshi P is certainly a visionary who has made a lot of very good calls in order to make the game successful, but he is also a hardcore raider and sees the world from that point of view primarily. This is what they always accused Blizzard of in the past, was, oh, you're dumping all the development time into raids because all you care about is raiding. Well, this is a similar situation at play here, because the direction of Final Fantasy is decided in a dictated fashion by the director-producer. There's no committee deciding the pros and cons of doing different approaches. It's just, well, Yoshi P has judged that this is the best option in this scenario, and so he has that sort of that flattened top-down perspective on, oh well, just using tomestones gives people options, right? Because strictly speaking, on paper he's right? If you're using tomestones, then any activity that grants you tomestones contributes to your relic weapon. You've got a plethora of options. But that's the top-down view, the very flat view. It's not the experiential view of somebody sitting on the bottom rung and doing it. He won't be doing it because he doesn't need to. He's a hardcore raider. His character on live will have a hot weapon from the latest raid.
Yeah, he's got the latest ultimate weapon glam with on whatever the current top tier raid weapon is. It's
this is the Calgan will be rocking his season 3 weapon phenomenon writ large. If anybody remembers that from Burning Crusade.
Gungan?
Calgan. This is when they revamped Arena for season 3, and the way weapons were earned, and it had a lot of blowback from the community because they felt that it was obtuse and troublesome. And Calgan, as the systems developer for PvP, posted that it's perfectly fine. I'll be rocking that weapon within a week. And people constantly cited and reposted this as sort of a let them eat cake attitude from a developer who was already participating in a form of content at a high level and therefore would have no trouble because he played a Mortal Strike warrior in Burning Crusade Arena.
Oh.
I don't know if anybody remembers the significance of that, but it was significant.
Yeah. It lets you shut down all the meta healing comps, and it did crazy damage if it got lucky with crits, because weapon damage and weapon speed were still a thing then.
Yeah. So anyway, we should start looking at wrapping up.
Yeah. Wow, we're at 4 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
I'm impressed that I managed to drag Let Them Eat Cake back in there as well to, close the loop.
You put it full circle. It's nice. So
yeah, made some good progress on Baja. Covered some good topics, I think.
Yeah.
Next week, lack of news.
Yeah, next week will be our pick apart of BlizzCon, provided we don't die from overdose of cringe.
Yeah, I'm not going to watch the entirety of the panels live. Just I'm not. You can't make me do it.
You can't.
They make you pay for that.
They
now.
do, and they make you pay through the nose for it.
Yeah, I'm not.
You can only watch them after the fact, and even then, I haven't actually watched them in years. There's not really any meaningful reason to. If you actually care about the content, even back in the day, you would just go to MMO Champion where they would give you a digest.
Yes.
Yeah. So we'll be able to pick apart any major announcements from that and go through and see how much our old stomping grounds has fallen apart. Kind of like me when I go to Atlanta.
Yeah, I'm still looking for Jeff Kaplan coming out with an axe. Carve that turkey.
That is just a start. It ain't nowhere near enough.
No, but it's got to start somewhere.
But yeah. So, I don't have an email talk of the week. Y'all got closing comments? I'll get us out of here.
Let's keep it on topic then. BlizzCon. Tell us your thoughts of them while it's happening. And again, provided of course you don't die from cringe overdose. Because, oh boy. Every year, BlizzCon does something that is just... Why? Why would...
Oh, dear.
Oh. Sometimes it's intentional, or they mean to do it. Other times it's just as a result of panic on stage. Like the do not have phones comment.
Yeah, they curate that crap now after that happened.
Yeah, after the various red shirt guys.
Well, they were okay with the red shirt guy, although they did start curating questions after the "Is this an April Fool's joke?" within that same announcement. But
Yeah.
the Diablo Immortal announcement made them start curating that crap way harder. That like you're going to get pre-approved
Yes.
questions. That they can't afford that to happen again.
No, they cannot. Because yikes. Everything about that panel was just completely tone deaf.
Yeah. That was where Blizzard exploded.
Well, they were primed to explode already at that point anyway.
They had exploded with smaller explosions all over the place throughout World of Warcraft's life cycle and etc. But that panel,
Yeah.
somebody just lit a match and threw it in, and everything went up.
Shouldn't have been announcing that in the first place. Just saying.
They sent that guy out to die on that stage.
They really did.
And they probably didn't even realize it until the booze.
Yeah. Someone had to have known.
I wonder if he knew. That's what I'm really interested in. Is did he know? He was gonna go out there and try and sell castration to the crowd.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. This BlizzCon could either be, the saving grace of Blizzard, doubtful, or it could be a hilarious dumpster fire.
Yeah,
I commissioned an incredibly cringe band to play.
Oh yeah, it's going to be some washed-up band from the '90s, of course.
Yeah, like we've got washed-up bands from the '80s when we were playing, so we got to be up to the '90s now. Oh, let's get Linkin Park in there. Let's play some edgy crawling in my skin music for BlizzCon.
They couldn't. They would not be that self-aware, would they? I don't know. We'll see.
All right. We'll see you next week, folks. Sayonara. Bye-bye.